Hey everybody, welcome back to another stream. Casual lore through Dark Souls 3. Yesterday we went through the Profane Capital, crashed on Yorm for a little bit, fought him without the Storm Ruler, had a good time, and then remembered that it was actually the 5th anniversary of Dark Souls 3, so that was kind of a cool way to celebrate it, I guess. And so yeah, today we'll be continuing from where we left off. We also did some of the NPC stuff, so we gave all of the tomes to them, and we've just kind of been buying them as we've been going along now. I forgot how to do the Cirrus questline, but apparently you do it after defeating Aldrich anyway, so all signs ahead kind of point to going to Anor Londo for now. We did kill the dancer way earlier, so we could potentially go that way, but I don't know, that's kind of like a non-canon way to go. And it is a bit interesting that like the dancer is more powerful than Sullivan, so yeah, we're just going to go back to Irithyll, and then from there we'll start to head to, what's it called? Anor Londo to fight Aldrich, which is one of my favorite areas. One that many people are already familiar with. And so yeah, welcome back everybody to the stream. Ed Guy, welcome to the stream. Just in time, nice to see you again. You said Aldrich dreamt of a better waifu, Nito. Oof. And Bailey says you thought it wasn't until later, or do you mean Anor Londo? Gabriel, welcome in, and Ed Guy says it's Nightbot after all, he's got to sleep every once in a while. Yeah, so maybe now we got the Nightbot fixed, I don't know. Having some technical difficulties, I guess. Oh, and I actually need to remember to hit record again. So, alright, we're doing a bit better now. Okay, and now we've got Nightbot back up. Okay, sweet. So we should be good to go for the most part now. Venom, welcome back to the stream. You said you thought it was strange that YouTube said the stream would only start in 3 hours. Did I mess up my time? Oh, I did. Oh, damn it. The funny slash sad thing is I spent I messed up the stream like 3 times yesterday where I was trying to accidentally start it immediately after the last one. So yeah, that's totally my mistake. I thought I switched it to the proper time, but I guess I didn't, or maybe I just like clicked on something else and missed it. So yeah, that's my fault. Well, at least my schedule has been consistent for the most part, so this will just chalk up to human error, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah. Merc Merkington says, walking up to Anor Londo in DS3 like, aw shit, here we go again. For real. And you gotta get summoned in Irithyll Bridge near the not Cleric Beast. Oh, but we already did that, Justin, so thank you. Yeah, we finished that part of Cirrus's questline. For some reason, I was thinking you do the second part to it after you kill 2 Lords of Cinder, but apparently it's just after Aldrich. Go back to the tree area, because we went over there at the end of the last stream and it wasn't there. And KB Abysswalker, welcome back to the stream. Okay. So yeah, earlier we did kill Pontiff Sullivan, and Pontiff, as I've said on the other streams, is just like another way of saying Pope. I mean, that's not strictly true, but like, if Pontiff is a rectangle, then Pope is like a square. Like Pope is just like a more involved version of a Pontiff, I guess. Like it has more authority, but they're essentially just like leaders of a religion. So, coming into his chamber again. Oh, I guess I had the binoculars out. Shouldn't be surprised. I'm not sure what these statues are supposed to be of. Kind of reminds me of Gwendolyn a little bit, just because like the overall statue of it, like it's a masculine kind of thing that looks feminine, but it doesn't have snake legs, so it's probably not Gwendolyn. But with Pontiff Sullivan taking over the Dark Moons, that's just kind of one of the thoughts that could tie into that. And I don't think there's too much else over here. I guess these are like giant graves. Well, not like graves, but like tombstones. Okay. And I think in the next area... Oh no, it's not like actual invasions. I mean, this is PvP Central, so... aside from like having like a lot of cool duels over here... Oh yeah, I forgot about these guys. There will be like a couple... not hunters in the next area. So I'll go ahead and reload just to get the other lizard. So I apologize while it gets loud for a second. I guess since I was already loaded into the game, it's not going to be super loud. It's only like when I actually like reload the save, I guess. So Venom says they are Gwendolyn, and Ed Guy says Sullivan having Gwendolyn statues in his boss room would be very revealing. Same clothes, same scepter. It's probably sanitized representation of him for the public. Yeah, I thought the staff was similar. It'll probably be easier to like double check with like actual pictures. Don't know what that is over there. I mean, I'm not sure. I feel like I should know, but I'm like drawing a blank. I guess that's just a jagged edge mountain. Maybe that's supposed to be Lothric, but I thought that was over that way. No, that's where like the great tree would be. But yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Huh. Okay. Those ruins in the distance look like the walls around Anor, Londo, and Dark Souls 1 a bit. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but by the same token, that shouldn't fit just because of, like, we know Anor Londo is, like, right there. But, I mean, they do say that, like, all the lands are converging, and potentially, like, it could have gotten shifted, and that's still supposed to be part of Anor Londo. It's a bit weird. Like, what comes to mind would be, like, that's the bridge where you fought the Taurus demon, and like if you go to the left, like, and then straight forward, that would be where the wyvern was. Maybe the other way around. I don't know. That's where Dark Souls 4 will happen. So that is Archdragon Peak. I was wondering if it was, but I thought it was more of like a metaphysical plane. So yeah, I'll try to keep that in mind later. Oh, okay, yeah, I think that does make sense. Okay. And Sundry Saturn and Devon Guy, welcome to the stream again. So that is Archdragon Peak. Okay, yeah, it is the bridge. Okay. I had the thought, but I didn't want to say. Oh, did I just... Yeah, I totally forgot about the lizard, or maybe I didn't come back in. I feel like I have ADHD when I stream this game. Get distracted by one thing. All the previous thoughts go out the window. So it's interesting that we see the Faram armor. It says the armor named after a god of war, and that could be a reference to like the Nameless King. We'll talk about that more later. I mean, obviously, like the little help menus are randomized. More Twinkling Titanite. Can I fall off here? I think I can. Funny. Fuck Dark Souls 4, you went Dark Souls 2 too. And so yeah, coming into this next area, we do see like a bunch of like giants, slaves. I don't know why they're all just like pretty much hollowed, I guess. They're just kind of dejected sitting there. They are wounded, or they've got like blisters all over their feet, so they've probably been mistreated. I mean, they're kind of bound in chains and irons and all that. And so up there are the NPCs that I was talking about that'll attack us. So we got the one down there, and then the other one up there. And I think their items do have lore. And as we look up to the left, we can see like Deacons of the Deep just standing by. So I don't think you can get up from here. You might have to go down, like into the little building. And I guess we'll get some more of those flowers that were kind of by the tree. So I don't think that's like super important here. I'm just kind of noticing that detail now that I'm over here. I don't remember if I have my torch on. Okay. I feel like there was a secret wall over here, or maybe not. Maybe up ahead. No falling? El Gusto, ahoy, you missed last night because you forgot your charger at work. Ho ho. Am I heading to fight Ashina? Ashina? Something like that. Okay, so we get a few more of the invisible people. Does anyone know, like, if I turned up the sound effects, if they say anything coherent? If not, I mean, I might just do it anyway, but... Dark stone plate ring? That's cool. Oh, those are probably the deacons up above. Chanting. Okay, so we got that ring worth checking out. Interesting that the speckles change things. So these are stone plates are symbols of true knights, and dark purple stone plates are granted to undead knights. Increases dark damage absorption. Pretty straightforward. Not too worried about dark damage right now. So Ed Guy says, reloading the game to respawn crystal lizards and forgetting about them is a professional only play, don't worry. No falling, okay. And Ed Guy says you can get up to the deacons from Sullivan's boss room. You think there is a ladder? Yeah, I remember there's like a way you can double back in there. I think I just need to like go up the steps and to the right. And then Devin Guy says you would have already picked up their armor in the cathedral already, the Drang armor. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did get the Drang armor, like the full set from there. But... Oh no, the NPC dudes, like I think they have like two. The weapons gives them a little bit extra lore. I mean, I might be misremembering. I know you're way more familiar with like the playthroughs of Dark Souls 3 than I am. So yeah, gonna go back up over here for now, just because I want to double back into the cathedral. Maybe I have to hit a switch over there, I don't remember. Okay, no, so you can't just run in. Okay. Wow. I zigged and zagged right back into it. And put that away. So yeah, there's this like little platform here. This is like one of the weirder shortcuts. It's not like particularly helpful. I don't know. Well, it kind of is. It's just weird to me. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this one over here is a mimic. No. Okay, not this one then. Oh, wait. I was too impatient. I got chomped. Oh, it just goes back to chilling? That's cool. I didn't know that. Did that whiff? So we got the golden ritual spear, and I think this is what the statues down below are carrying. So I'll go back down to the bottom after we loot this area, and then just compare the two directly. So Venom says, don't look at their breathing, look at the chain. I need to find like a mimic next to a regular chest to actually tell the difference. Because the last time I tried to do it was in the Profane Capital, so the chains were just covered with like all the little goblets and trinkets. I almost completely missed that. A simple gem. I thought there was like another thing over here. Maybe it was just the lizard. Must be. Okay, it doesn't look like the windows or anything super cool. So, SG, hey guys, LP, Elgato, Bridge, how's it going? It's going pretty well, and welcome back to the stream. Devin says, yeah, I thought so too, but if you remember correctly, it's the armor that mentions the key part. Let me see the Drang set. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see again. A guy swears there's more mimics in the game than actual chests. See, that's what happens when I turn my head to actually try to read my chat. I almost got gravity deathed. SG says the mimics are always a pain in the butt. Check if the chain is forward if it's a mimic. Okay. Give that high ass. Why do Lloyd talismans knock out mimics? They do? I'm going to need to test that out. Because obviously with my reaction, I didn't realize that. Alright, so we got that new staff. So a ritual spear presented to the Dark Moon Knights before Sullivan claimed the title of Pontiff. Can also be used as a staff. Sorceries cast using this weapon channel the wielder's faith. So it's a pretty big hint that this was most likely related to Gwendolyn at one point. If we look closely, it's a little bit hard to see, maybe. The spear itself has kind of been, like, corroded and, like, warped and melted a little bit compared to how it looked in Dark Souls 1. So that could be a hint of Gwendolyn's fate before we find it out for real. And so the big hint, of course, would be that normally you can't cast a sorcery with faith because they're more reliant upon intelligence, and this kind of reverses that rule. Try to two-hand this. So yeah, this might be like the closest angle I think we can get of it. My pretty hollow-eyed face. Okay. Where's my sword? You think it's only available in Dark Souls 3 that the talismans will knock out the mimics? Devin said, you never really understood why an Estus blocker for undead puts a mimic to sleep. See, I didn't even know about that at all, so that's really cool. Thanks for letting me know, guys. Ned says, if you throw Lloyd's talisman on a mimic in Dark Souls 1, it goes back to chilling. You haven't tried it in 3, but it'll probably be the same. It works in all of the games? Interesting. In 3, it goes into a short nap when you throw one at them? Okay. So we did that way, and then this way is kind of annoying. I mean, every way is kind of annoying. So we're just gonna deal with the giants. So some of them are actually dead. Some of them are like actually alive. So this is kind of a dangerous area because I think the dudes up there can still cast spells at us. Might be misremembering, or is it just that the knights gank us? Or the giants will, like, throw boulders. Okay, no, I was remembering. So the little dudes I'm going to try to bring into the room. Because I don't want to have to deal with giant as well as, like, all the caster guys. And so they buff their weapons with the dark ability, which is why they're purple. They're not like Mace Windu. It's cool. I felt the giant... Oh, he died. Okay. But yeah, those ones have much less HP. Oh. Failed parried earlier. There we go. We get a Kylo Ren over here. So that's why it pays off to just have a tanky strength build. You just face tank damage and deal more than they can deal to you. So I thought the other dude is supposed to drop an item, or maybe it's only the second one that does. I don't know. So we get the Drang Twin Spears. Okay. I guess we already had these, so maybe Devin was right that we already picked them up. But I know these obviously aren't the spears that we just picked up. Okay, so look at chat real quick. Justin says, throwing a mimic already in the trap position will also open its mouth, allowing you to get the item and a chance at a Helm of Avarice. Such a cool Easter egg. SG says, somehow those giants remind you of the Jingle Bell giants in the Cathedral Ward in Bloodborne. Yeah. Devin says, these giants remind me of giants. Yes, the game is very deep. El Gusto says, why is the giant defending his overseer Stockholm Syndrome? That's a really good question, and I think the most likely answer is the developers thought fighting another giant would be a pain in the ass, so why not include it? So, Venom says, I'll be a hero in the Dark Souls lore community if I manage to understand why Drangleic Knights are in Anor Londo / Irithyll. I don't know. Maybe we will figure it out. I don't know. Yeah, and that's kind of an interesting thing to bring up just because I'm not really a big part of the Dark Souls lore community, at least not yet. So I don't even know like the most prominent theories or thoughts about a lot of the things here. So maybe it's a good thing to come in with a different perspective or a fresh perspective, especially since I can look at the Japanese if I want to, but yeah. Justin says, in 2, you don't think it pacifies an aggressive mimic, but you can have one... But you can throw one at a sitting mimic and have it open its mouth. Giants can't see you. Remember, they have resin in their masks. Okay, yeah, I totally forgot about that. Or wasn't that just for Go and not, like, all of the dragons? Or why do I keep saying dragons instead of giants? I have to, like, mentally, like, stop myself before I do it half the time. Alright, so anyway, these are the Drang Twin Spears. The paired spears of the Drang Knights proclaimed descendants from the land known for the legend of the Linking of the Fire. When the Drang Knights disbanded, they scattered across the lands as sellswords. They quickly became known for shieldless, aggressive tactics that struck fear in the hearts of men. So maybe that's what I was thinking of. Okay, and that's pretty much the exact same. So yeah, I guess this just kind of establishes them as sellswords, and let me double check the armor again to see if it says anything about that. Until treason meant descending into the abyss, and they were separated forever. Okay, yeah. Let me make a note to myself. Look at the treason thing on this. I should do a better job about keeping the notes of the things that I want to actually look at. Drang... Armor... Treason. Okay. And El Gusta says only the Go had the resin in his mask. And Brisson, welcome back to the stream. You said, you wonder if the Drang Knight's twin weapons are a reference to the power-wielding mechanic from Dark Souls 2. And Venom says they have to be. That was easy. Becoming a lore hero, just read one item. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it is like that, though. Not to say, like, to, like, throw shade at anybody else and their, like, thoughts about the lore, but sometimes it really is just as easy as reading the items and then trying to figure out where they fit together. And that can be easier said than done. Members, I should have just gone up and fought the little guys. So, obviously you guys can't get this feeling from it, but it's really cool that when the giants step, you can feel the vibration. Oh, I thought I rolled the second time. This is weird. These dragons can actually, or why do we keep saying dragons? These giants can actually hit the things on the ground. Don't just have to swing at their feet. So yeah, I guess these ones are maybe slightly smaller than some of the other giants, but I don't really think that's like super deep lore or anything. And no, that's not a pun intended reference to the Cathedral of the Deep. So yeah, I guess I could have gone back up the little lift. I just wasn't thinking on autopilot. The treason of the Drang Knights, what is that note talking about? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that myself. Devin says they used the dark enchants on the weapons, you're pretty sure. So yeah, I guess maybe they really did go down to the abyss. I think the giants here respawn. Maybe not. Pretty confident they do. So yeah, I'll leave the other giant for now. I'll take care of the deacons up top, and then we'll come back down. So the treason was probably Anor Londo falling to the dark because of Pontiff. Wouldn't that have been more of a thing in Dark Souls 2, the treason, I guess? But I guess it could apply to Dark Souls 3. If they fell to the abyss, why are they there now? They don't look affected by the abyss either. Because Irithyll equals Anor Londo. You wonder if these giants have holes for faces? I think that's probably likely. Maybe Yorm is the only giant that does have a face in all this series. Ed Guy says, falling to the abyss doesn't necessarily mean you're dead or disappear. Artorias is said to have fallen into the abyss and he just went berserk. Yeah, and we do find Artorias, like, kind of near it, but I mean, he has, like, walked out of it, essentially. Oh, now I remember the point of that shortcut. Oh. That dude died faster than I was expecting. Yeah, it's for once you unlock the other shortcut. That becomes more relevant for the cathedral. So that seems to be like the profane flame because it chases us. I don't know how we were just shot from the back. Oh. I thought there was something in there. But that one lived. I also like their little daggers, those candlesticks. Oh, I must have missed a little bit. And we got the Deacon robe. Okay, so yeah, that 11 luck build is really the max luck build apparently. Okay, so going back to the chat, Venom says they all have covered faces, and El Gusto says the building reminds you of Drangleic Castle, and Devin says that Drang equals Drangleic. You're not really 100% keen on the DS2 stuff yet. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's kind of what it's supposed to imply. I didn't play Dark Souls 2 like completely before playing Dark Souls 3, so when I went through Dark Souls 3, I didn't like make the connection that Drang was Drangleic. Justin says the kingdom has already fallen to the abyss since Nashandra took control. And Devin says, because Drangleic is the equivalent of Anor Londo, isn't it? Kingdom of the gods or some such. And Drang means want. It was kind of like Anor Londo in its fallen age. You thought the land of the giants is Anor Londo? They weren't gods though, just lords of men. Shield of want equals Drang shield. Neat. Yeah, I didn't know that Drang equals is want. So that's interesting. Is that like some of the more like elven type stuff, or like Anor Londo being like sunlight or something like that? And then Bailey says, today in biology, something about cerebral spinal fluid, brain fluid and bloodborne, you assume, caught your eye. It said CBS fluid acts as an exchange medium between blood and the brain. And yeah, so it is kind of interesting to see like where that kind of pseudoscience falls into bloodborne at times. And when you look at cerebrospinal fluid, I think it's also got stem cells in it, or like brain fluid in general has the most stem cells of anything other than like bone marrow. I might be misremembering that, so you could potentially like link a lot of the stuff in like Bloodborne to traveling through stem cells. But that's a little bit Going off into a different subject, and SG says, if you remember correctly, giants were the first to fight the dragons. Okay, so this is the deacon's skirt. It's a skirt worn by the deacons of the Cathedral of the Deep, worn on the inside of the deep red robe. In time, those dedicated to sealing away the horrors of the deep succumbed to their very power. It seems that neither tending to the flame nor the faith could save them. So it's really interesting that it says that as a final line. Maybe it's a bit more telling or like foreshadowing of just the way that the cycles work in Dark Souls, and that like people who believe in the power of the linking the first flame isn't going to actually like lead to their salvation, and their faith, which is tied into that, doesn't save them either. So pretty cool item. And then what else did we get? We got their actual robe, so it's probably gonna say the same thing, right? Yeah, the deep red pigment denotes the blessing of fire, so that's interesting. So we got that area cleared out. I think we're at full health now. Close enough. So we can't open this door yet because we need to get from the top area back down. So we'll go back down to the little courtyard over there. We'll pick up some of those items. Maybe fight one or two more giants that are down there, and then proceed towards the more Anor Londo section of the map. Eldegusto says, Drang is German, so it's probably Drang, and Vendrick was obsessed with Want. And Devin says, Anor Londo is where Gwyn and his kin come from. And Venom says, CBS also cleans the neurons and provides them with nourishment. Deacons of the Deep may have had their clothes evolved from Ingvard's crew. The Archdeacon garb says it's a way of white cathedral that fell to the abyss, then became a cathedral of the deep. Yeah, we checked out the Archdeacon one when we did kill the Deacons of the Deep. So this one's alive. It's got moving chains. The camera. Not taking any chances. Kill these damn things. And I think there was like treasure over here. Maybe this is just like an area that I ran to get cover from the snipers on my first playthrough. Okay, a little bit of both. Archetype Night Shard. Venom says, you have no idea where I heard that. Cerebrospinal fluid doesn't hold many cells at all. It's mostly clear, just filled with molecules and ions. Yeah, so I might have been misremembering. So thank you for correcting me. I do appreciate that. And Justin says, the Throne of Want is a piece of the kiln and was taken from the land of the giants. Dranglet can't be Lordran unless the kiln isn't in Lordran. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that the Throne of Want was taken from the kiln. Christopher Chu, welcome. You said, you're a newcomer, you made it through Bloodborne at the first half of quarantine, and you're at the end of Dark Souls 3 while playing Remastered 2. Is Ringed City worth it? Absolutely. All of the DLCs for each game is pretty much worth it, and they have like some of the best areas for all of the Soulsborne titles from what I understand. So the Dark Souls 2's main game content isn't that great from what I understand, but its DLC kind of makes up for it. And with Dark Souls 3, the main game content is pretty good. It kind of feels like short and long at the same time, but like the DLC it just has so much value for your money, it seems like, especially if you get it on sale nowadays. But I would highly, highly recommend picking up the Dark Souls 3 DLC just because of the fights alone are like iconic. Boss fights, rather. So, and there is some cool lore that goes with it as well. So, yeah, obviously I already knew about this illusory wall, and this will lead down to a couple of Sullivan's beasts, as well as, what's his name? Archdeacon McDonald. Maybe I want to do that now, or maybe I'll go through... Yeah, I think I'll just go through the area first, and then if I don't get sniped off the buildings, I'll like unlock the shortcut and then just come back here later. to deal with the McDonald's stuff. I don't think there's a treasure back here. I might be misremembering. So I feel like they included this next section just to bring up some PTSD for those who played Dark Souls 1 and got crashed onto the Black Knight archers in that game. So before we deal with this bullet hell, I'll catch up on chat. And SG says to Nymphalis, there's something similar in Sekiro as well, related to sucking the youth out by those mist nobles. I think I'm missing what you're talking about. Like, I know what you're talking about with the mist nobles. I'm just missing the chat context. Oh well. Justin says the giants are native to Lordran if we consider Irithyll dungeon being built around a giant. And Eldegusta says, well, you did have to go through a ghost tunnel to reach the kiln, Justin. Yeah, the ghost tunnel is kind of weird. You do get teleported there, or like, I guess you can just like straight up jump down there without using ramped, but... Devin says, the main moral of the story is literally every aspect of Linking of the Flame has fallen to darkness this late in the cycle. Yeah. The moral of the story is let go of the world to attain salvation. Very, very, very Buddhist in its overall philosophy. Nymphalis says, yeah, it did make sense why it would help Saint Adeline and shit. Justin says, you mean we also don't see Earthen Peak until the kingdoms start collapsing in on each other? And Venom says, that's not confirmed. The game never explicitly states what it is Vendrick stole from the giants, and he built the castle for Nishandra, implying she already knew the throne was there. Interesting. Okay, so you're talking about the fluid? Oh, okay, with like the brain fluid with Adeline and the Mist Nobles. Okay, I'm following a little bit better now. I'm trying to remember which side I want to go on first. I think both are annoying, but I think I tended to go on this side because it's got the little drop. I think there was an item over here. So Dark Souls 1 was kind of interesting. Like, it's pretty much if you kept moving, you were kind of fine. I think if you just keep walking or just keep running. Oh, I'm low on HP. Rip. Damn it. After so skillfully killing the first Black Knight. Oh, I must not have healed after the giant hit me. Rip headless run. It's cool though. Alright, so I'm not exactly sure how to read your name, so I'm going to guess it's Zasatter. So if you have a more phonetic way you'd like me to pronounce your name, please let me know. Welcome to the stream, and hello yourself with all of us fellow lore enthusiasts. And Effervescent Soliloquy, welcome back. You said, am I playing through this section online? It's no fun if I'm not. No, I'm not playing online right now. Just because it does take up a lot of time to get invaded, and I've gotten invaded a little bit in like the what's it called, in Farron Swamp. So we did get a little bit of that experience, but as I did mention before, like this place pretty much is PvP central. It's pretty fun. But at least in Dark Souls 3, when you kill the boss in an area, like that doesn't like break the PvP, if I remember correctly. So if we ever do want to PvP, we can do that more later. But with me crashing on Yorm for like 2 hours yesterday, it's probably better to continue where I can and get some of that lore and some of the gravity deaths. Okay. So SG says, Knights up ahead, lure them downstairs. And Tanner, welcome back to the stream. Hello. And so here we go again. Where's a CJ when we need him? Ow. Got a hella knockback on that thing. Ah. Need to parry these things. Damn it. Okay, that was just bad on my part. I guess I have to fight the Black Knights a little bit more strategically. Or, I mean, I could always just go back to the smart play and just run past them at first and then just pick them off. Because that's... Yeah, let's just play smart. I've already brute forced enough things in this game. I think you guys know. And so... The Nightbot is annoying. It helps me, so it has to stay. And I should drink a little bit more water. And Soliloquy says, you know, getting ganked by 2 Aldrich Faithful and a red is absolute canon lore. I don't disagree. And Justin says, will I become the Half-Light? Oh, you missed some frustrating Yorm action yesterday? Yeah, so I didn't want to fight him with the Storm Ruler just because I'd never done it before. And using that just makes the fight really trivial. So there's some pretty fun highlights, like me thinking that Yorm was dead when he was just finally entering phase 2. That was kind of funny. Like, I didn't even realize Yorm had a phase 2 just because of how handily Siegfried really deals with him. So, yeah. Definitely some good highlights in yesterday's stream. And so, let's... Okay, and then Brisson said he had PvP on in the swamp and he bodied everybody that invaded, so now he turned off online to give the invaders a chance at succeeding elsewhere. I wouldn't say that I bodied everybody. I think there was one dude who killed me, but yeah, I had a pretty good run for the PvP. So, wow. Get the glowing little item, the Easterner's ashes. So I think the one will chase us down here, or is it 3 total that are in this area? Yeah. So we can walk up slowly and then backstab this jerk off the platform, if I remember correctly. Although I've had a really bad luck of catching people with the backstabs when they're just standing there. So we'll just add that to the streak of bad luck. Oh, I thought he was gonna stab me. Well, he did. Okay. Yeah, I can get the backstabs when they're like trying to pivot towards me and face me, but when they're standing still, I screw it up. Soliloquy says, sorry you're not actually listening to me. You're listening to a new Black album premiering now and just watching the gameplay footage. No, it's all good. I mean, Dark Souls 3 with some metal, it's a big mood. Blasphemy. El Gusto says, it's interesting, it's potentially possible Yorm was the first non-undead to link the flame since Gwyn. It's ambiguous, the nature of the giants and all. I guess that might depend on, like, how canon you want to take the events of Dark Souls 2, because I think you would have to assume, like, the bearer of the curse would have linked. But, yeah. There's also, I guess, Ludleth, although I don't know exactly where the timeline of that comes together. And then Phaley says, your internet died and you're cooking. Did I miss anything? No, I just crashed on some of the Black Knights, unfortunately. And so Tanner says, do we think these ashes are tied to any particular characters? Paladin ashes to Leroy, Easterner's ashes to Shiva, or just references? I don't know about Shiva, because if I remember correctly, Shiva wields the Murakumo in Dark Souls 1, and we loot that from Alva in this game, so maybe they're related, maybe not. So don't be bad. That's the real kick. So yeah, I'll deal with the. Well, I'll attempt to deal with the knights, and then I'll read the ashes. How did I screw this up every time? Oh, these have more health than I expected. Bruh. That was not really worth the trouble for that. So yeah, we'll kill the other one and then go back down to the bottom. Or maybe these are Silver Knights because they respawn. I always forget how to tell them apart. Why am I the worst? Oh my god. Okay. I'll read the ashes now. I need to parry. I mean, I don't need to, but I should, rather than just getting stabbed in the face. So Justin says, who are the excrement-covered ashes linked to? And then Ed says, Petrus. And Alex, welcome back to the stream. As we can see, I am totally following the canon path of entering Anor Londo by getting stomped by some knights, coming up some slopes. That is the official Dark Souls canon. So yeah, it's kind of funny, like, just how arduous Anor Londo becomes in Dark Souls. Because you go through Sen's Fortress, and if you miss that second bonfire, it's absolute hell. Okay, just flowers on that. So you go through Sen's Fortress, which is absolute hell if you don't know what you're doing, and especially if you miss that bonfire. And then you come up to Anor Londo, have to figure out how to get into it, and like go up those slopes and everything. And then you face the two Black Knight archers who will just knock you off repeatedly unless you do it right, which is, it's kind of weird and a little bit unintuitive with how it works. And then after you do all of that bullshit, you have to fight Ornstein and Smo. So it's like, this is where the true Dark Souls begins. And then the rest of the game is relatively easy compared to that, which is pretty funny. I guess like the Bed of Chaos can really screw some people up as well. This dude's shooting at me? Did he fall down? That was weird. Backstab, don't parry. Parry this, you filthy casual. You think you missed the bonfire when you did most of Sen? Yeah, I don't remember if I got it in my first playthrough. I definitely did find it on my own the second one, but I felt like I remembered it, so I probably did find it. Because I'm the type that'll like look down the cliffs and stuff. Damn it, I need to be closer. Okay, so 4 hits, at least. Alright, so yeah, the parry was the way to go, apparently. So if remember, do I want to drop down here on the little ramps? Yeah, I don't need to. But there is another knight over here. I think it's just the one though. Yeah, not so tough when I have room to walk around you, huh? Okay. So that's all the vindication we needed. Wow, does this dude... Is he supposed to drop that, or do I just have the god RNG on this character for whatever reason? My dumb character has dumb luck, I guess. Okay. So we already had the Dragon Rider bow, and now we just got the Dragon Slayer Great Bow? Or no, was it the other way around? No, it's gotta be this one, I think. Justin says, you still memorize the path to Seath from the Crystal Cave? Yeah, and that's another bullshit area, really, how that works out. Venom says, notice how the snow in Anor Londo is just sand-colored white. I have heard people point that out, so that's a cool idea. I should take another look at that, so thank you for bringing that up again. So damn, they still have the Dragon Slayer arrows. Yeah. So what did I just pick up, though, for real? I'm pretty sure we got that one. I'll just read both, I guess. So, longbow of the Dragon Riders who served the old King of Wunt. The Dragon Riders were the old King's royal guard, and great strength was demanded of them. Merely drawing this bow calls for inhuman strength. The worthy few who can master this bow, however, use it to devastating effect. I feel like I did read that one before. So, Dragon Slayer Great Bow is a great bow used by the Dragon Slayers during the Age of Gods. Okay, this is probably it for sure. Far greater in size than any normal bow, and far more devastating. The bow must be anchored to the ground when fired, a time-consuming operation that leaves the user vulnerable. Only specialized great arrows can be fired from the bow. And so, yeah. It's pretty much what we get there. It does tie it into, like, the Dragon Slayers / Black Knights of Dark Souls 1. And, really begins to tie the whole area into Anor Londo much more strongly. I think that one's already facing downhill. I think that connects in. Oh well, I'll just go this way. Let's fail another backstab. way too early. As soon as I have two enemies nearby, I just kind of lose my mind. I'm like, how do I play? Oh, this one has a spear. Oof, I thought I was rolling off for a second. I was trying to kick. There we go. So, okay, yeah, I do want to go back up that way for some special treasure, but I think this spot is safe, so I'll unlock the shortcut. Large Titanite shard, always nice. I mean, we're pretty flush with those. Just need the chunks now. Which I would have expected that it would have started to get more in this area, but I guess not. So there's a little shortcut. And I think there's an area to drop down over here that I might need to do to get some random item. Maybe it's that courtyard down there I need to go, because I don't think I explored it. Pretty sure there's an item down there. Oh yeah, and somebody mentioned the snow was ash, actually. Maybe I'll be able to show that off. Probably have to look at the ground. Oh, so there was a full-on, like, actual drop. Okay, so we also got those arrows. Let's check those out. We haven't really looked at some of these arrows in a while either. So, Alex says, who's the King of Wunt? And everybody told him it was Vendrick, so thank you for covering. And Venom says other way around. Dragon Riders, Dringlick, Dragon Slayers, and Orlando. Thank you. And Dragon Rider served Vendrick. Okay. Justin says you really need to play Dark Souls 2 again, and you get that bow from their soul. Okay. Justin says it really makes sense Pontiff would make Anor Londo his home, since that'd probably be where he ended up, since he's a native to the painting. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. But I guess there is no... I guess we don't have access to the same building, but the building with the painting isn't like in the rest of this area of Anor Londo, at least in Dark Souls 3. And the only way you can access the painting is at least from Gale handing us a scrap of it. Or wasn't there... There might have been another way now that I think about it, but I can't remember what it is. Gusto says, man, if I went back in time and showed this gameplay to someone in the 80s or 90s, they would plots. Plus, Anor Londo is the schwankiest place in the universe, so why not live there? Alright, so these are large spear-like arrows created by the giant blacksmith of the gods. Oh yeah, and in like Dark Souls 1, they called it like the giant god blacksmith, and so this one is a bit more accurate, that it's like the giant blacksmith of the gods, or the giant blacksmiths. So probably a singular and plural thing, but can only be used with great bows. These large arrows were said to have been used by dragon hunters during the Age of the Gods. Easily pierces human flesh. And so these are the Dragon Slayer lightning arrows. Wow. Large spear-like arrows enveloped in lightning created by the giant blacksmith of the gods. Can only be used with great bows. Lightning has been the weapon of the Dragon Slayers ever since the time of Gwyn, the First Lord. And so this is the Oni Slayer Great Arrow. Large arrows used to destroy giant horned Oni in an eastern land. Can only be used with great bows. Made from the feathers of an aged crow, it is said that these arrows fly as straight as their master. So yeah, I don't know who their master is supposed to be. Maybe it's like the crow that would carry us from the Undead Asylum to Lordran. Maybe a potential link to Velka if she's supposed to be related to crows, but yeah. Alright, so that's pretty much it for now. And so let's go check out those ashes that we picked up forever ago. Umbral ash of an armor merchant from an eastern land. Surely the handmaid of Firelink Shrine can turn this into a few new things. The merchant, the captain of the clan of hunters, was fascinated with weaponry. So yeah, I think, was it Justin who mentioned it earlier? This probably is most likely related to Shiva from Dark Souls 1, because he worked along with the cat, Alvina, and he was kind of a merchant that would appear in the Dark Fruit Garden, or whatever it's called. You guys know what I'm talking about. And he would sell like a bunch of weapons, and that was like a clan of hunters essentially. So I do think that this is probably a good hint that this might be related to Shiva. I can't exactly make out what's in its hand though, so if somebody could, that'd probably be an even better indication of the link. Okay, so this is how we go back down there. This is what I was remembering, I think. And I don't think there was anything over here. How many things do I have? Okay, I've got enough. But might as well just proceed with the area, because I don't think there's anything else that is like too dangerous. Because I think you get the bonfire before dealing with the things up there. It's been a while since I've played though. And so El Gusto says, yeah, that is Shiva's ashes. Fascinated by weaponry. Seems to be a reference to how Shiva was meant to take her Chaos Blade. That's so cool. Also how he sold you exotic weapons. Yeah, he just sold the unique stuff. And, okay, so it's Tanner, but you'll take the credit. And so there's the kind of illusory wall here. I don't think not Alva, Anri stuff is done yet, so I'll leave that here for now. That'll become more important later on. And so this was probably another hint of like Gwendolyn's area, where there's like the illusory statue of Gwyn that you could like roll through to go meet the Dark Moon Covenant, and as you'll like go deeper down there, that area will kind of match with where we fought Gwendolyn in Dark Souls 1. So this is the big old elevator that led over there. And Ember. So we are essentially now finally in like Anor Londo from Dark Souls 1. And so before the painted worlds building was like right over there, but obviously it's not there any longer. I don't think there's too much else to look at right here. We could also see Yorshka later on. Let me double check if there's an item. Okay. And the Yorshka stuff is pretty trippy, but I have some thoughts about that. Echo Fiend, welcome to the stream. You said to Justin, you disagree because we don't really see where the painting is located. While Sullivan also came from a cold place, you don't think that has anything to do with why he visited Irithyll. I think what he was saying was that because the painting was found in Anor Londo, it would make sense that Sullivan is in a place like right next to Anor Londo. Not that like he visited Irithyll because it's cold. I think it would be the opposite, in that the reason why Irithyll is cold is because of Sullivan's presence here. So I think we finally get some of the snow that we were looking at, and you guys said it was ashes and not actual snow. I guess it's a little hard to tell from here. It might be a bit more obvious when we try to see Yorshka. I don't remember if anything will pop up over there. So then we do get that final confirmation of Anor Londo, so this is a very nostalgic place to return to. And so, just looking at the general imagery of things, it's interesting that like Anor Londo, which is kind of like at the top of the world in Dark Souls 1, is like in between, or it's lower than Lothric, so that kind of shows like the ascension of that line of royalty, I guess, in the cosmology of Dark Souls. So Anor Londo is probably like a bit more forgotten. And so Earth Dragon Peak way over there is just maybe like a separate realm, or like it's pretty much on the same level but a little bit lower than Lothric. I don't think that's super relevant, but it's just interesting that like all of these kind of places associated with divinity or extra realms or gods or whatever you want to call it are like way above like the normal ground, and it just kind of establishes them in the sky. So that's a little bit more like, you know, English lit class analysis right there, but thank you for humoring that. So, El DeGusto says, see, you wonder if Gwyn was that tall in his prime, it would make sense that with the size of his big old daughter. Sorry, I kind of mangled that comment. And, the old steps, yeah. Echo Fiend says, good point. You definitely think that Gwendolyn's authority was a prime motivator for his migration there. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. So, this is a weird way that they have this set up. Like, you can kind of see that there's a bonfire over there, so there's a little bit of a hint that there's more over there than meets the eye. But there's no, like, real good indication of what you need to do to get over there, which is a bit of a trip. So, for a second here, I was wondering if these little, they almost look like rat statues, actually, were related to the assets used in Bloodborne. Of like the little dog-like things coming off the walls, but I guess not. So yeah, before continuing with the Yorshka stuff, you literally just step out in the sky, which is like the last thing you ever want to do in a FromSoft game, right? And at least in Dark Souls 1 with the Crystal Caverns, there was like a bunch of like falling snow. I mean, it really wasn't snow, but like falling particles that would illuminate that there was a foothold here. So I guess what you're supposed to do is maybe use, what's it called? Like the pebbles? What are they called? The prism stones in this game. So yeah, we could drop the prism stones, but it's pretty unintuitive because, you know, it costs resources to use them. So basically you just want to follow this straight up until you get parallel or perpendicular, I guess. Do this little thing over here, and then you roll over. And then you'll fall down. And so that's how you get into the Church of Yorshka again. So, it is interesting that there is that kind of invisible platform, and as we talk about Yorshka, I do think that she may have some connections to Seath, but yeah, this is going to be a whole new can of worms to open, so let me catch up on chat and get a little bit of water before I open that can of worms. Actually, I'm thinking I might want to save it now. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and save it just so I could get at least two perspectives of her opening dialogue and whatnot. I don't exactly remember if it's super important or anything, but it's kind of nice to have that kind of like two camera shot of things at times. So what am I doing? I want to upload. And I think the regulars in chat will know what this means as well. Venom says, so you're saying the gods in Dark Souls always build their Mount Olympus to live atop? Kind of, I think so. I mean, that's just kind of human nature where, like, the royalty is going to be closer to the sky, whether or not they're, like, on top of a hill because it's more easily defended, or if there's more religious connotations for it. El Gusto says, do we think they built the huge-ass Lothric castle with magic or just immortal slave labor? Probably a little bit of both. It is a little bit of a shame to me that, like, whenever there's, like, magic in a world, you never see, like, people using it to construct things. But, yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of one of my random thoughts when I get immersed in a kind of fantasy world. Tanner says, do we know what caused the physical ascension of Lothric Castle? Justin says, Snapfreeze talks about it. You have to roll. I mean, you don't have to roll. It's just, why not? It works. Tanner says, oh no, LP making saves around NPCs. So Justin says, the painting is from Anor Londo. It would make no sense for the painting to not be in Anor Londo. Pontiff then decides to trek towards Anor Londo because of a god who is hiding. I mean, there's reasons enough for him to go where, like, he can fit in. The Dark Moon Knights accepted him, so that's where he first started, but yeah. Somebody said something. Do we know what caused the physical ascension of Lothric Castle? So that's a good question. I don't think we really have a good answer. There's always the possibility that with the lands converging, that it could have naturally been risen into the sky like that. But with that said, presumably before the flame was weakened, like, they still built, like, the high wall that, like, goes to it and all that. So yeah, I don't know. So now we get our secondary waifu time with Yorshka. And so I should probably step closer, actually. Let's go ahead and get some of that, like, Miyazaki footlore. I forget I can't move. So as we see, she has a tail, which is going to be relevant in her kind of heritage. And she's got these, like, weird tendrils and scales coming out of her face. I stopped a little bit too short. Gotta redo everything. Alright, that's lovely. Okay. And so going back to the Forbidden Foot lore, she's got humanoid feet. Miyazaki. Creation confirmed. So let me line this up again. This kind of sucks. I feel like I'm doing the feng shui routine right now. This is the worst. Maybe she's off center. Oh, now we got it. Okay.
Name thyself, stranger. I am Yorshka, captain of the Dark Moon Knights. What beckoned thee to such a place? If thou'st come stumbling here in error, I bid thee leave anon. This tower is a prison. Thy presence shall invoke the ire of the tyrant Sullivan. Though 'twas a rare delight to converse with another. My thanks, strange visitor. May the dark moon watch over thee.
So from her, we do get some of that extra information that Sullivan is a tyrant, a usurper of power, and so she's kind of his prisoner.
Thou thinkst to remain? This tower is a prison. Thy presence shall invoke the ire of the tyrant Sullivan. I bid thee leave anon. Thou thinkst too? Very well. Captain to this knightless company I remain. I will grant thee purpose. Thou'st journeyed far. Hear my voice. If thou shalt swear by the covenant to become a shadow of Father Gwyn and Sister Guinevere, a blade that shall hunt the foes of our lords, then I place thee under the aegis and the power of the Dark Moon. Thou art now a blade of the Dark Moon, the only knight of our company. Swear this oath and face thy solemn duty.
I guess I don't need to add again.
Oh, good blade of the Dark Moon, welcome home. If I can provide thee succor, only tell me how.
So Justin says Anon. So Anon is kind of like Old English, and if I remember correctly, it just means soon. The context is pretty clear with that. Echo Fiend says she has tiny arms. I think it's more like she has a really long neck, so her arms and everything else kind of looks disproportionate by proxy. Or maybe they just don't hang down a little bit low, or like low enough. I don't know. They do look a little bit weird though. Justin says, was Pontiff accepted by the Dark Moons? I assumed he just took the Sword of Judgment and used it for political purposes. It sounded like he did join the Dark Moons initially, and then he just like became the captain and just got hungry with power. So maybe he went down to the profane capital as a Dark Moon, and then that's where he had his burning ambition take root within him. And then Eldegusta says, metaphysical prominence of their rulership may cause it to be at its height. So yeah, I think that's a possibility. Maybe not like literally, but I feel like symbolically that's what it's supposed to represent. And then Brisson says, you don't think so, considering he imprisoned the captain of the Dark Moons. She looks like a Vampire Hunter D painting. Maybe if I just sit still, he'll go away. A Blank Thing, welcome to the stream. You said, you think Pontiff and Aldrich took the city and Anor Londo by force? Yeah, I mean, especially once we do more of the Aldrich stuff, that'll become a bit more explicit. And Guy says, by telling you to leave, she's trying to save you from the 7 years of reprisal farming. that's a quality comment there. Thor says Anon all the time. Anon. So Effervescent says, Dark Moon is the only covenant in Dark Souls 3 that actually gives items worth a damn, yet they are the hardest to actually get the required tokens for. Why, FromSoft? So I like the Spears of the Church, just because like they give you some more benefits as the boss of that fight, but that's just me personally. Like if I had to choose like a covenant for their rewards, I don't know, that covenant is really cool to me, even though it's kind of a, limited in its scope.
Long ago, our father Gwyn, lamenting the waning of the fire, became cinder of his own will. Now, the fire is linked by the champions who have come in his stead. Such is the will of Father and the gods. And so the Dark Moon Knights took arms to watch over those who link the fire. But long ago, our company lost its last proper knight. Only its covenant was preserved to this day, until the time of thy visit. Heirdom taketh many forms, indeed.
So that's some cool, like, exposition that we learn. That knight might be a reference to Cirrus, since she's the one who teaches us the Dark Moon loyalty gesture, and that's what we use to enter this covenant with Yorshka. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, with Yorshka calling Gwyn father, that's a bit ambiguous as to whether or not it's more like meant as a biological sense of father, or maybe just more of like a religious fraternal sense of father. So I'll have a little bit more to talk about with Yorshka in just a moment here.
May I pose thee a question? This tower, this prison, stands tall and solitary, the contraption bridging its lower reaches long unmoving. So, by what path didst thou here ascend? Art thou a creature of the air? Or other winged thing? No, of course not. Forgive my prying. Think no more on mine asking. I am ashamed to say I know very little of anything. Long ago, our father Gwyn.
Damn it, I thought she was going to say the same thing.
Only Heirdom. Long ago,
okay.
But only its Heirdom. Long ago, our father Gwyn, lamenting the waning of the fire, became cinder of his own will. Now,
so I'm just having her talk
by the
this dialogue again just to get like a different angle of the footage. I don't necessarily think I'll need to use it, but as I said before, it's kind of nice to have this thing on hand.
The knights took arms to watch over those who link the fire. But long ago, our company lost its last proper knight. Only its covenant was preserved to this day, until the time of thy visit. Heirdom taketh many forms, indeed.
Okay. So Aldagusta says, Pontiff sounds like the player character of a fun Dark Souls game. And Soliloquy says, you suppose the Obscuring Ring is pretty good, at least for invaders. Okay, for the Covenants. And Echo Fiend says to Justin, you were going off of an interpretation that Gwendolyn succeeded Gwyn as Chief of the Gods, in that sense without needing to hide. And yeah, there is that possibility that like the Chosen Undead of Dark Souls 1 didn't have to fight Gwendolyn, and so they didn't. And then there's also some of the item descriptions in 3 which call Gwendolyn like the chief god of the Way of White, and that like Lloyd was a derivative fraud. Something along those lines. So there is a little bit of arguments within like the game world as to who is supposed to be chief god after Gwyn's time. And so Eldegusta says, you think Canehurst was originally meant to be here, data mining and all? Justin says, but doesn't that seem like more of a stretch? We know Pontiff is from the painting, and the painting was in Anor Londo. Pontiff wouldn't need to go anywhere. Ask Yorshka about Elden Ring. Well, as you heard it yourself, she said that she doesn't know very much about anything, so she's really sticking to that FromSoft NDA.
Off so soon? May the dark moon watch over thee. Dear brother, forgive me.
Yorshka's chime. So I probably should redo that because that wasn't a very good angle for it, but whatever. Hopefully we caught some of you guys unaware. Blank Thing says Gwendolyn most likely was aware of the rise of Pontiff and Aldrich. Gwendolyn was honor bound to Anor Londo and was aware they were coming. He knew he was going to lose, so he passed duty to Yorshka. And Ed Guy says Yorshka doesn't know much about anything, but what about someone or something? So this is Yorshka's chime. It's a sacred chime belonging to Yorshka. Her brother, the former knight captain, presented her with this medium together with another gift, her name. The ringing of the chime must have done much to soothe her loneliness. So... yeah, chat's calling me an onster instead of a monster, so I don't know. This does... So this item is really important to trying to understand Yorshka's place in the world, because it does cement that her older brother is Gwendolyn, the former knight captain. Yeah. And it's not just like a different term. Like it's very clearly that Yorshka is Gwendolyn's younger sister, and he gave her her name and all that. And as I reload the game, I'll talk about some of the important stuff with that. It's a little bit disappointing you can't just like hit her tail to get like a dagger or something, but yeah. Did I just upload? Because I wasn't paying attention to what the hell I was doing. What if Priscilla wasn't the love child of Seath and Guinevere and instead Yorshka was? So yeah, going back into that idea of Yorshka's lineage, we see that she's most definitely like part dragon, and in Dark Souls 1, it's a little bit clearer in Japanese that Priscilla is a half-dragon, and she's called something like the Pure White. And if I remember correctly, there's something about Yorshka being related to whiteness or snow, like I don't remember off the top of my head. I probably should have like double-checked everything. But now I'm nervous to see if I uploaded. I mean, we did pretty much all that I needed to with Yorshka, I think. I don't think she said anything different. Okay. Okay, sweet. So yeah, now that we're over here, let's just zoom in on her face, or get her like little tail in it as well, I guess. It's whatever. I don't think I'm going to get a better shot. Maybe on the other side? Probably not. Some ways this seems worse. Try it. Oh, well, no tail. Oh, that's still a pretty shot. Okay. So yeah, Yorshka, she's got that stuff on her face. She's got a dragon tail. We know that Priscilla was a half-dragon, and from Priscilla's soul we can get the Life Hunt Scythe. And that's going to be relevant when we look at items related to Aldrich and Gwendolyn shortly. And so, when we look at the bequeathed soul to Seath, it has a phrase in Japanese, or rather like one term that calls him matrilineal relative to Gwyn after he was given the soul, which is a very interesting thing to consider. And so the kanji that they use for it is Gai Seki, and Gai literally means outside, and Seki means like relative. But when they're put together, it specifically means that somebody is related to the mother of somebody, like the mother side of the family, to somebody else. So what that could potentially mean is that Seath is related to Gwyn, and if Priscilla is supposed to be a half-dragon, it makes me wonder if Seath had a daughter with a woman of some sort, produced Priscilla, and then Priscilla and Gwyn proceeded to have a child, and that child could have been Gwendolyn. And then with Gwendolyn being the definitive last-born of Gwyn, that makes me think that if Priscilla is Gwendolyn's mother, she must have had a different father for Yorshka, and that would be able to explain why there's the connection between Yorshka, Gwendolyn, and dragons and sorceries and all of that kind of stuff, with Seath being like the father of all of that. And going back into like the invisible platforms found in the crystal caves, that makes me wonder if like the invisible platform here is just kind of a call back to that. And granted, like, I don't fully believe this myself. I just think it's a really important possibility worth entertaining. That was that's, yeah, worth discussion for the most part. I think there was something else I was going to say about that, but I can't remember. Yeah. Priscilla was the antithesis to all life. We do see her turn invisible in the fight. We see Gwendolyn turn invisible and like teleport in his fight, similar to Priscilla and Seath. Rather than being able to use intelligence for sorceries, he uses faith as a kind of god. But he still does use sorceries, even though he's a god. You would expect him to be more associated with miracles. And then there's also the idea of Seath being related to moonlight, and then Gwendolyn, being the dark moon and kind of raised differently than all of the other gods, potentially as the fault of like the way that he was born. And so, yeah. I'll catch up on chat and then I'll talk a little bit more about some other theories that I have about that. So El Gusto says, you think Gwendolyn gave Yorshka a title to make her happy? You think Gwendolyn submitted to being eaten for the sake of Yorshka? And then Phobos, welcome back to the stream. El Gusto says, tail or feet, you choose. She has doll energy, which is to say none. Touch fluffy tail. Justin says, you don't see it since Priscilla was thrown into the painting as a young girl. And then Phobos says, is Gwendolyn said explicitly to be the last child, not the last son? I'm pretty confident it does say that he's the last born, specifically. But I mean, I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure he is like the last born. So, El Gusta said, Life Hunt, I wanted to talk about Life Hunt. I was going to talk about Life Hunt once we actually killed Aldrich, but I do thank you for bringing that up. And so, Nymphalis says, doesn't Yorshka called Guinevere sister? I think so, and as I said before, I'm not entirely sure if that's supposed to mean that Guinevere is actually related to her, or if that's more of the religious side of it. It's a possibility. So, going back to the whole situation with Gwyn and his wife or wives, I don't have concrete thoughts about it. So there is the possibility that maybe Priscilla could be the mother for the Nameless King, Guinevere, and Gwendolyn. I don't necessarily think it has to be the case, but I do think, for the most part, it's very strongly hinted that Priscilla could have been the mother of Gwendolyn and Yorshka. That's the way that I would take it. So if Gwyn had children with other wives or other women, that'd also be pretty in line with his character, as kind of like a parallel to Zeus in many ways. But Nymphalis says it'd be weird if she called her mom sister and shit. And so Phobos says, so you think Yorshka and Gwendolyn are related through their mother? Yes, I do think that's a really strong possibility. And what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So part of my theories with that might tie into with the kind of experiments that we see Seath using in Dark Souls 1, as him experimenting on a bunch of maidens to create something, and we don't really know what that something is. And so with Priscilla being the antithesis to all life, one random thought that I've had is maybe Seath was performing these experiments to create a kind of fire keeper that could stabilize the first flame and keep the cycle running indefinitely. And I think Gwyn would have been in support of that as well, and probably why he tolerated Seath's kind of inhumane research on women and maidens and all that. So with that in mind, it wouldn't surprise me if Seath made a kind of vessel that he thought could combine the traits of dragons, humans, and gods, and have Priscilla and Gwyn mate to create the perfect child, and then we have Gwendolyn as a failure. But again, that is really, really off the deep end. You guys don't have to believe that. I do understand how crazy that sounds, but that's just kind of one of the thoughts that I've had as a result of looking this stuff up. And so I'm just kind of sharing that as a possibility for others to entertain as well. So thank you for listening to that. And going back to the chat, Echo Fiend says, Dark Moon Seance Ring simply says Lastborn. No indicator of Lastborn son or daughter. Don't know about the Japanese version. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same in Japanese, where it's just Lastborn. But I think it's been a long time since I've looked at that, so I might be wrong. El Gusto says, Nameless King could have had Priscilla, as he was banished for having a hard-on for dragons. And Phobo says, you always thought it was just what Gwendolyn told her, though. So yeah, if it wasn't for the item that we just got, Yorshka's Chime, which, I mean, we don't have in our possession anymore, I would be way more inclined to agree with you. But the fact that it's stated definitively in an item description and it doesn't use the kind of wishy-washy text where it's like, perhaps it is said, I would be agree. I would, kind of be on board with that, and I wouldn't like believe this as strongly as I do. But yeah, that's the real like kick in the teeth for me, because otherwise I would just kind of dismiss this stuff as being like a bit crazy, like, oh, it's just one of those item descriptions, oh, it's said, like there's no like real basis in fact with what it says. So El Gusto says Gwendolyn totally has Seath feet, and Phobo says the easiest solution to it is that she's Gwendolyn and Priscilla's child, but it always seemed far-fetched to me. So the fact that the item says that it's her older brother which gave her the name makes it pretty clear to me that like her older brother is actually Gwendolyn. And so with Gwendolyn being like the canon last born of child of Gwyn, it would have to imply that her father isn't Gwyn, even though she does call him Father Gwyn. So that seems like she might use it in more of a religious context, which is very unsatisfying, I admit. But I mean, that's pretty much the only way I could make sense of what the game is telling me. And Justin says, you just can't see Gwyn having a child with Priscilla. He feared the child so much he threw her in a painting and created in order to protect it. I mean, by the same token, like, why wouldn't he have just killed her if he was actually afraid of her? It's a bit weird that he would go through the effort of protecting something that is the antithesis of all life, rather than, like, full-on sealing it away. Because, like, the Painted Guardians don't, like, they wouldn't try to kill Priscilla, I don't think. Like, they're like, her vanguard, I guess, or bodyguards. So, but yeah, I do understand, like, the trepidation that others would have towards this idea. And El Gusto says, Gwendolyn could have hatched from an egg after all. His other siblings, maybe that counts for late birth. Okay, so let's try to get the different angle for talking to Yorshka this time. The third party. Or third person perspective, not third party. Or, there we go.
Name thyself, stranger. I am Yorshka, captain of the Dark Moon Knights. What beckoned thee to such a place? Thou thinkst too. Very well. Captain to this knightless company I remain. I will grant thee purpose. Thou'st journeyed far. Hear my voice. If thou shalt swear by the covenant to become a shadow of Father Gwyn and Sister Guinevere, a blade that shall hunt the foes of our lords, then I place thee under the aegis and the power of the Dark Moon. Thou art now a blade of the Dark Moon, the only knight of our company. Swear this oath and face thy solemn duty. Oh, good blade of the Dark Moon, welcome home. If I can provide thee succor, only tell me how.
So this time, I'll face her head on when she talks about it.
Long ago, our father, but long ago, only at Erdom. May I pose thee a question? This tower, this prison, stands tall and solitary, the contraption bridging its lower reaches long unmoving. So, by what path didst thou here ascend? Art thou a creature of the air? Or other winged thing? Oh my! I imagined it might be so. Then thou art a dragon? Or perhaps a crow? Well, whatever thou beest, thou'rt wondrous strange, yet strangely familiar, visitor. Long ago,
Okay.
Nessa only aired him. Off so soon, may the dark.
Good enough. Alright. So going back to the chat. El Gusto says, it's a big mythic resonance to not be able to kill a child if you hate what they stand for. And then Phobo says, you mean going by the description I gave of the Japanese item with Seath? Their clan relations are defined patrilineally, so Gwendolyn could have adopted her, given if he was the head of the clan. That's an interesting point. I'll need to think about that more as well. Once Gwen died, that is, yeah. The Venom says, remember that Yorshka doesn't know much of anything. You always interpreted it as Gwendolyn telling her he's her brother and her accepting it as truth. As I said, if it wasn't for the actual item description, I'd be more inclined to be on with that interpretation of events. So, and if Gwendolyn is her brother, then Guinevere is her sister and Gwyn her father. I do think since she is kind of adopted into the Dark Moons and like the royalty there, she might think of herself as the daughter of Gwyn. That's a possibility. But as far as the actual like canon item descriptions goes, Gwendolyn is the last born and she is his younger sister. So by that logic, she cannot be Gwyn's biological child, which is the way that I take it. And so I think I'm missing something. Bobo says, it's weird that Gwendolyn was so prominent given Gwyn had other children like Anor. Yeah. And El Gusto says, do we know if Gwendolyn was blind? He wore eye covering and Seath was a blind albino mutant with a snake. Well, hold on, let me reread that. He wore eye covering and Seath was also a blind albino mutant with snake feet and like sorcery and the moon and a whole bunch big ties. Yeah, I think there are a lot of small ties that really makes this crazy theory have a bit more weight than you'd expect at just like, you know, the thesis statement of like, oh my god, Gwendolyn is the son of Priscilla and Gwyn, and Priscilla was made by Seath, and it's all like tied together. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. But there are a lot of small connections that make me wonder and give it like a bit more serious thought than I would be inclined to otherwise. So, Phobo says, it's weird that Gwendolyn was so... Okay, I read that one. Embargo Venom says, notice she never mentions Anor, so it's not like she's well informed on her family tree. Then Ed Guy says, you doubt Anor was talked about much in Anor Londo. And Venom says, Gwendolyn is the son of Seath and Gwyn confirmed. No, I never said that. Ed Guy says, Gwyn likely saw her as gone forever, as he had no intention of going back for her, did he? Yeah, that's interesting. Like, Anor definitely feels like the kind of character that's introduced in the middle of a sitcom as like a side character sister, and then they never get brought up again. And one example that I'm thinking of just off the top of my head is Donna's sister in That 70s Show. The writers wrote her in for like one episode, and then they never used her again, so they even like made fun of it in like one of their end roles on one of the later seasons, like, whatever happened to Donna's sister? And so El Gusta says, you know me too well, Embargo. And then Justin says, Seath doesn't have literal snake feet, though. Last legitimate child, Yorshka, could be an illegitimate child. I don't really think that makes too much of a difference for this game, but that's also a possibility. Echo Fiend says, Aldrich's eyes look kinda blind when you data mine their face, if you count that. You mean how many albinos with snake feet do you know? Okay. So, this is pretty much all I have to say about Yorshka. So, yeah, sorry for making y'all have to deal with that a heap of crazy. So, we're going to go down her little chapel here. So, as I've said before, the way that I like to do this is line my head up with the next platform and then drop that way. Painting Guardian's Curved Sword, so that's a pretty cool item to get right over here. So, a weapon described in legends passed down amongst heretics, wielded by the Painting Guardians. A uniquely shaped weapon with a flat tip. And then you can still do the dance. So, it's interesting that they're passed down amongst heretics, because the Painting Guardians were originally employed by, you know, Anor Londo, and so you'd assume they'd be affiliated with the gods and all that. But we also do know of like the heretics plan to kill the gods using occult style weapons, and so maybe there's a bit more that ties into that. And with like, you know, Priscilla being the antithesis of all life, maybe that's why they were protecting her. I don't exactly know what to make of that, but I mean, it's what we got for now. I think that's that. And I think that we get the robes here. Or like they're set. Okay. So, attire of the Painting Guardians, whose forms are described in the mythology of heretics. A smooth, pale hood that deters magic. The hunchback teller of ancient tales describes unwanted souls who are unwelcome across the lands and are eventually drawn into a cold, painted world. I think the same is true of the other ones. Interesting that it says the hunchback teller of ancient tales. I wonder if that's supposed to be a reference to pilgrims? Or maybe like the cleric blue set? I don't know. Brisson says, "Hey Dad, what happened to Philionor? You sent her to the Ring City a while ago and we haven't heard back." "Shut up and put on this dress!" Phobo says, "Gwendolyn even has Gwyn in his name, which shows he was pretty important even if his father hated him." And it's also interesting that we don't ever really get the Nameless King's name told to us. We can only make the inference that he was called Faram, but even that might have been a name that the men gave to their god. That might not have actually like been their god's name, but yeah. Brisson says, "Or Gwyn was a narcissist." I think that's a strong possibility. Min-maxed, welcome back to the stream. You say, "Okay, Nightbot, that was nice. Not gonna lie, the chain dance animation is cool." Justin says, "Gwendolyn snake legs could have been an illusion." And Aldegusto says, "Some believe Gwyn never knew about Gwendolyn." I would not believe that personally, but... Bobo says, "You wonder if the snake legs could be related to the snake rings, and the snake people in Sense Fortress for that matter." Yeah, it's a bit weird. And we do know that like snakes are imperfect dragons, and so if Gwendolyn was the child, let's go with, the child of Priscilla, who was a half-dragon, it would make him a quarter-dragon? I don't necessarily think that would make him a snake, but you guys know how weird some of the things in the game can be. Let's check out the... Oh, I think it's a skirt, isn't it? A waistcloth? Actually, this might work. Not as cool as I was hoping. Okay, so we'll just stick with this for now. Is Sen a snake? We don't really get a look at who Sen is or was, fortunately. How much health do I have? I'm probably gonna... Okay. I'm gonna say I'm probably gonna die to gravity. Sloppy, but it worked. So we can use this to warp back to, what's it called? The shrine. I'm gonna level up once or twice. I think... Is the pilgrim still here? Nope, looks like it's gone. So Anri might have already gotten got. We'll leave that alone for now, or maybe I should check it out. Yeah, I guess I just saved with the Yorshka stuff, and that'll only take like 3 seconds to do, aside from the leveling up. So Ed Guy says, "There's a miracle in Dark Souls 1 or 3 you don't remember, which has Gwyn giving a speech with Gwendolyn behind him." So that's in a lot of the miracles. I mean, it uses the same thing over and over, essentially. What am I doing? I know the Red Scholar has like the actual image file like saved. So if he was in chat, I would say like, feel free to link it. But somebody has like gone through the files and like cleaned it up and posted it. but it is on this painting. It's really small, but yeah. Oh, don't level up. Buy all the sorceries is what I want to do. That's the plan.
Back again, I see. Perfect. Promise to stay safe.
I don't think I need to worry about those ones. Or maybe he dies after we buy them all? I don't remember. Ugh. The things we do for lore. The people we meet. The people we decease.
Do not be got what?
Gonna travel to Anor Londo. So it's called Prison Tower for Yorshka's spot. Okay. Tanner says, watch those tendons. Indeed. Getting tendonitis playing this game. Phobo says, you always heard the name Gwyneth. You were thinking the other day about the relationship between the crystal stuff and fire and ice. Like, sorcery is probably just Seath trying to be immortal. So sorcery seems to be tied to the soul a bit more explicitly compared to, like, the flame or fire, which would be in, like, pyromancy, which, as I've said before in previous streams, like, pyromancy is essentially called, like, curse technique. So, like, if it's true that that's actually supposed to be more of a thing, what am I going to say? Yeah, so if, like, pyromancies are supposed to be related to curses and sorceries are supposed to be related to souls specifically, I don't really know. I think we need to run back down to the bottom here because this doesn't go anywhere. Oh, I should talk to Yuria. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna go talk to Yuria. Screw it. Let's go all the way back up. So yeah, sorry to just kind of like drift away with my thoughts for a second. So with ice and stuff being related to sorceries and sorceries being kind of related to the soul, I think that kind of goes together. And so if the curse is the other aspect that ties into it, it would just kind of go hand in hand with, like, the soul is the curse, or damn it, I was on the wrong side. Where the soul and the curse are related and kind of like two sides of the same coin. But yeah, it is kind of crazy how that all works together. Or doesn't really. So Justin says, if I buy all sorcery, he dies. So we haven't gotten the last set. The last book in the archives for him to got. But thank you for reminding me. Then Brisson says, yeah, if you remember correctly, Seath was using crystal magic to become immortal without having scales, but you don't remember what items that's from. So that's, if I remember correctly, like the Dark Moon, or not the Dark Moon, but the Brass Knight Firekeeper lady tells us that. And when you do fight Seath, you have to break the everlasting crystal before he can be damaged, because that'll, like, get rid of his, like, crystal scales. So, Yuria. Okay. El Degusto says, the moon is said to be feminine and tied to sorcery through info we know on Gwendolyn. Big mythic resonance tells me Gwyn's wife would have to have been a moon goddess. So Phobos says, sorry, the soul and what is two sides of a coin? Like the soul and the curse, essentially. I think. So, like souls and fire, like they're kind of interlinked. And yeah, it's... I don't know what else to say about that right now.
Speak thy desire, honorable Lord of Hollows. Ah, greetings, our lord and liege. Good tidings. Thy spouse is ready. The time is ripe to greet her. The girl awaits thee in the hidden dark moon chamber of Anor Londo. So thou mayst a true monarch become. Ah, greetings, our lord and lady. Good the time the good so thou till we meet again.
So yeah, that's how we're supposed to know to go through a random statue. So it's pretty necessary to have pretty much played Dark Souls 1 to understand what the hell she's talking about. Because it's not going to be obvious to do it, I don't think, unless they like put a death note there. They might have, I don't remember. So, Effervescent Soliloquy says, you actually got some hidden dialogue from Yuria last night after you beat the dancer at level 15 that you never heard before. You unfortunately skipped over it because you weren't expecting anything. Wasn't written on any of the wikis. Wow. She said something like, how could this come to pass? But then she reverted to normal. You kind of crapped yourself because you thought you messed up her quest because you need to get the Morian blade off of her here for your low-level Millwood Great Bow Twink build. So, I don't know. Maybe... Like, I felt like all of the dialogue was data mined. I mean, I haven't looked at all of Yuria's, but... Damn it. Getting distracted. So yeah, I haven't looked at all of Yuria's dialogue, but I thought it was all data mined. So it might be in, like, her files, and maybe people just didn't know how to, trigger it. But yeah. I'll look at that later. I'll try to, at least. Eldegusta says, do we even know that the moon existed before Gwendolyn? I think you can make that inference just because, like, when you look at the descriptions of items related to Seath and Midir, they talk about the moon being, like, extremely old, even before their time, and if they're, like, everlasting dragons, it would be a pretty strong hint that they were around. Oh, I guess the statue's gone now. So maybe I should have rolled through it before. Interesting. It's cool. So gotta walk up slow to make a cinematic entrance. Talk to this damn pilgrim.
Welcome, our gracious lord. Your spouse awaits you. You are very near. Please, take the sword of avowal. May you be the truest lord of Londo yet.
Alright, Tanner, thank you for dropping by as always. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a good time at work, or at least an acceptable one. So from that pilgrim, we do get the Sword of Avowal.
Your spouse awaits you. You are very near. May you be the truest lord of Londo yet. Your spouse awaits you.
Soliloquy says it could be that Yuri's dialogue just wasn't posted on the wiki. Yeah, possibly.
May you be the truest.
Justin says that you believe soul is intrinsic to all life, but humanity is slivers of the dark soul. Soul is more ethereal, while humanity is physical and part of the world, hence why it falls to the bottom. I think that's a good point as well, and probably a good read on things. So as we see, this is the Chamber of the Dark Moons. We've got like a bunch of statues of like the knights on the walls, and then we get the brass set that was related to that Firekeeper in Dark Souls 1. Let's look at the helmet, wherever it is. Oh, there it is. Armor of a knight once known as the Dark Moon. It is said that this brass armor hides something hideous within. Something about its silhouette suggests femininity. That's a pretty big hint as to whom it belonged to, and so they're all the same. So as I said, we got those statues of the knights on the walls. I'm gonna redo that a little bit for the footage. I apologize. It was a little bit easier to just like walk straight, both in real life and the game. Damn it. Should I have read that before I stabbed it? Spoiler alert, in her face. I think you keep it in your inventory, I just don't remember. So it's cool that after you stab her, you see like the darkness rising up the blade into the unkindled one. So we do seem to absorb her humanity. And if I remember correctly, like the dark sigil levels up a lot too. So we had 5 before, so now we got 3 more. So as we see, it didn't really quite match up that cutscene there, but it is in her face now. I don't exactly know how that works, and I guess maybe I lost that stupid sort of avowal. I think there was a key item. I might just reload it just to look at that again. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Okay. So my fault for screwing up, but at least it was like a really close save. So Minmax said, swords of Avowal are seen in the Ring City as well. Perhaps it's a symbol of darkness rather than of Londor, as Londor wants to usurp the flame and usher in the Age of Dark, and so we could have adopted the sword, causing people to mistake it as a symbol of Londor instead. That's interesting. I'll need to double check when we get to the Ring City to see some of the symbols on that. Is the Fugs viable? I mean, pretty much everything is viable to a certain degree. And also, welcome to the stream again, Thiopental the 4th. Justin says it's really long, your bosoms. Effervescent says, you think for strength builds, the meta is basically Ring Knight Ultra Great Swords? Those swords are legit OP, free backstabs. The Giant Sword gives it extra Gavatas. You prefer the Classic Great Sword? Man, Anri must be so nervous right now. That's one butt clench of a stab. It's her big day. Is it in her face? Yeah. The meta for strength is Split Leaf Greatsword. Well, that's one extra... Oh, nope, not going to read that one out loud. Get biggity banned. El Gusto says, so why doesn't she come back to life, huh? In my personal experience, I've always had a little bit of a hard time coming back to life after being stabbed in the face. Oh, now I need to get all the painting crap, too. Oh, actually, we can go back now and try to roll through it, because we already got Uria's footage. So I guess it kind of works out.
That now the... Oh, if I... Long now, but only... This art thou... Oh, well... Off so soon made...
All these half-ass immortals. Claymore is meta, period. The best kind of wife is one that doesn't speak. Oof. Nightingale, welcome to the stream. Came at just the right time. She does appear in the ending, so she kind of comes back alive. Does Anri come back alive? I don't think so. And also, welcome to the stream, Nisali. She does come back to life? Really? That's... I don't think I ever noticed. I thought it was one of the Sable Church Sisters, maybe. So that'd be interesting if, like, all the dead come back to life then. So go back to Anor Londo. Yeah, it's really easy to miss a ton of details on, like, the first playthrough. Especially because you don't know what you're looking for, so it's definitely cool having all the comments, point stuff like that out. Oh, good for her coming back. When you hit it, big stealing the flame. Yeah, you see her in the cutscene. You're absorbing her humanity in your curse, freeing her and allowing her to become a hollow of Londor. So she's among the Londor folk in the ending. Okay. And welcome back, Zachary Koenig. Nightingale says, you see her kneeling at the Lord of Hollows ending. Ooh, I'm falling down the stairs. So this time we're going to try to roll through the big old statue. I don't think that messes with things. If it does, rip. So our pilgrim friend isn't here yet, so maybe we haven't done it yet. Or like they aren't finished yet. Brass set. But yeah, Anri has not been stabbed in the face yet. And are those chests still there or no? Probably should have checked the first time. No chest. Got the big old flower designs again. Got some flowers up here still, so a little bit laziness on their part. Okay. So then we'll just go back to Firelink. And then redo what we did. Nightbot, please, I can't drink anymore. I guess it's all the giants for holes of her faces we're married to. It won't mess with anything, just gives you access. Okay. I mean, I didn't think it messed with anything. I don't even remember how I did this. Did I not go to the damn it. Meant to go to the shrine. Nisali believes the flowers are meant for Gwyn. I think that's the way we're kind of forced to read it, since Anri isn't dead yet. Although, wasn't Gwendolyn doing the same thing in Dark Souls 1? Like, did he put flowers down as well for Gwyn? I mean, it's definitely like that. He talks about like it's a sacred space for like Gwyn and like the royal family and all that.
Till we meet again. May the
Do I need to talk to Grey Rat now that we've been to Anor Londo? Maybe.
Oh, hello, you're back. And in one piece. Well, now it's time I do my part, huh? You can keep the ring.
Alright, so the answer is no.
Goodbye. Oh.
Back at perfect.
This crap again.
Promise to stay. Hi.
Is there anything that we need to upgrade the what's it called? to reinforce the flame for? I don't remember
Got what is
for this game. Because I know it's for some of the covenants in Dark Souls 1. This spot. Do I want to go through this way first? Let's just go the easy way. Soliloquy says, you've already drunk 1 bottle of wine because of the Nightbot. You're not so sure how much more you can drink. The bot is a hardcore drinker. It's for water. It's water. Remember, this is your fiance. It wants a Londor wedding. Wasn't it also implied that the Nameless King visited the tomb before he left? I think so. I think you're right. I don't remember for sure, though. Do we not have a little lever over here? There we go. So you guys said this stuff was ash, not snow. Weird. So yeah, it's a bit weird as to like what happened to the rest of Anor Londo. We can't just like keep running across the bridge back to where it was. So Ed Guy says, Gwendolyn gets real pissy when you enter there. He says you're trespassing on Gwyn's tomb. Right. And Eldegusta says there were candles and eating flowers in the Gwyn tomb in Dark Souls 1. Justin says, you don't believe Yorm was an actual giant. You believe he's a lordling who absorbed too many humanity and grew gigantic. Since like the items call him a giant, I don't really feel like I can argue with that, really. Just because as soon as you start to disagree with or like question the items, you kind of end up shooting yourself in the foot, just because you don't have like reason to believe other things, since everything can pretty much then be doubted. So that's the way that I take it. Alright, and I gotta remember to read this dumb sword this time. But with the benefit of doing this a second time, we get camera time. Or binocular time. Oh, that's gross.
Welcome, our gracious lord. Your spouse awaits you.
So Ed Guy says, yes, Nightingale, you believe he left the Sunlight Blade miracle.
Please.
And Phobos says, imagine if your girl wants to go to London for your honeymoon, but you heard her wrong and you go to Londor so she forgets her scuba gear. What? Augusto says, when you genocided the world, you forgot to get the armor behind Gwendolyn in Dark Souls 1. Justin says, the profane great sword talks about Anor Londo being a tundra before he arrived. Okay. I'm not going to worry about the second part of that. I think this was a key item, not like a real one. Okay. So this is ceremonial sword of Londor, cannot be equipped as a weapon. It is said that a rite of wedlock will presage a true hollow lord. Your spouse's name is Anri, who patiently awaits a rightful lord deep within the mausoleum. So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this stuff the first time. As I said before in some previous streams, that I might as well say now because we have a few more fresh faces. We don't have Anri's items, but we do have the eye at least. So Anri's straight sword has a phrase in Japanese. I think it's like put in quotes and everything that really makes it stand apart. So when it talks about the sword of one most noble, that also appears on the straight sword. And this phrase here, it uses like the child of a true noble, or like the sword of one most noble, something like that. And when we look at the Sunlight Princess ring, do I have that in this game? I don't remember if we picked it up, or if we need to pick it up again later. Okay, so I don't have it. So the Sunlight Princess ring mentions that Guinevere left her homeland and then she bore noble children or royal children, something like that in English. It uses like the same phrase, like the same term for nobility as in Anri's sword. So there's a possibility that it might imply that Anri is a descendant of Guinevere if she's a noble. And so potentially stabbing Anri in the face with all of that right here could mean that like we're kind of literally like succeeding Gwyn's will, maybe not his will, but like his lineage by binding ourselves to a descendant of his. Could be one of the metaphors that we're supposed to pick up from her being like a noble child and then Guinevere having noble children. That's kind of a crazy thought to have, so something I wanted to bring up but forgot earlier. And just going back to the imagery of the Sword of Avowal itself, it does kind of remind me of like the kind of eclipse that we see at the end of the game by the Soul of Cinders. But yeah. Let's check this out again. Pretty sight. Bobo says there isn't as much talk about curses in Dark Souls, unlike Bloodborne. And then El Degusto says they make Yorm's face hooded to make him appear like the Dark Souls 2 giants, even though you can tell there is a face silhouette. And Effervescent says you actually once met this Italian guy in Toronto, and he wanted to go back to Italy, so he first booked a flight to London, but he ended up flying to London, Ontario, and Canada. Rough. Probably thought he was making a pretty good savings on the flight, I guess. Nightingale says, reminds you when many theorized that Solaire was Gwyn's child. Phobo says, do I stand with the speculation that Guinevere was the queen of Lothric? I don't know. I don't have super strong thoughts about it because her husband was supposed to be Flan, or Flan, however you want to pronounce it. And I think in Dark Souls 2, it gives us hints as to who would have ended up like founding Lothric with Lothian, I think his name was. Lothian? But, yeah. Why did I do this again? I should have paid attention. Dionysus says, hi everyone, is this DLC? No, this is the... Oh, I missed an item. The Dead Pilgrim. Damn it. Thank you. Thank you very much for reminding me to check out that Pilgrim. I'm sick of this damn elevator. Could this ritual have been done with any other undead? That's a really good question. I mean, to a certain extent, I would think so, just because, like, how the hell else did they think to come up with this? But then, on the other hand, it's like, we don't really have any confirmation that it did happen to any other undead, so it's just one of those things where you just, like, leave it or take it, I guess. So, yes, thank you, MinMax, for reminding me about this pilgrim, because I was totally on autopilot. So let's just go make this a little bit more cinematic again. You guys are getting to see a little bit of how the sausage is made. We get the chameleon spell again. So I've already read that one in a previous stream, so I'm not going to read about it now. But thank you again for reminding me. Phobo says Flan or Flynn, so the former. Flynn is also brought up, but that seems to be a different person in Dark Souls. Tanner says, made it halfway to work, boss called and said false alarm. At least you can catch more stream. So, yeah, welcome back, Tanner. Sorry for the false alarm, but hopefully there's some silver linings in there, I don't know. So it was flan with 2 N's. Yeah, so El Gusto has it. And then Justin says Anri is being groomed from the start. Yeah, and so they did catch up on like Anri stuff like pretty early on with Londor, and so they were kind of grooming her and guiding her to where she needed to go. But it's all like super creepy and kind of crazy to think about like how they came to conceive of this ritual as well as implement it. Alright, so I'm going to remember to put my binoculars off. So both Anri and the player are unkindled rather than undead though. Yeah, and that's a bit different. Nightingale says, in retrospect, it is silly to think Solaire was Gwyn's child, but at the time of Dark Souls 1, with the limited evidence we had, it was the most likely. Yeah, I mean, I don't begrudge people for like thinking that in the time of Dark Souls 1. I do begrudge myself for not paying attention to this damn knight. And messing up the kick every time. Oh, that's weird. Oh, there's 2 of them! That's my weakness. Multiples. You just kill me? Yeah. At least I got the souls from the first one. Okay. Kasky Nightblade, welcome back. You said, maybe Guinevere has had multiple husbands during time. She goes to a kingdom, convinces them to link the fire, everything crumbles, then she flees and does the same to another kingdom. I mean, that's a possibility, perhaps? Yeah, I don't know. Because, I mean, yeah, if Gwendolyn is still alive, like, Guinevere could still potentially be alive, so I suppose there is that possibility. What did I just do? That was weird. Leggings and a shard. Yeah, now that we're focusing, it's going a lot better there. Daniel Flores, welcome to the stream. He said, what exactly is the point of this ritual? What is supposed to happen after the 3rd ending? So it seems like by absorbing as much of the curse as possible, it'll allow the player to be able to usurp the flame and control it within themselves. It might like hollow them to the point where they can become a vessel for the first flame would be one way that I would read it. I don't think we can get in from this direction. Locked by some contraption. So we can also kind of see like there is like this weird like relief sculpture put into this. It's just like of like 2 old men, I think. It's a little bit hard to make out. But it might be something I might look at later on if I ever remember to do it. So yeah, with the whole Londor ritual, it is really weird because, I mean, it wasn't a thing in the time of Dark Souls 1. It's very new to Dark Souls 3, so it's kind of hard to think of what to make of it, really. So there used to be some like gargoyles that would attack us, the imp dudes, the demons in Dark Souls 1, but they aren't here anymore. And don't think there's any treasure. And so, if Ati were here, he'd say, like, prepare to cry time. So, Effervescent says, God, these stairs give you bad nightmares for farming from those damn Concord proofs. So, here we go. All the sad times coming, rushing forth. Prepare to cry. Get Vati on the line. Our giant friend is, no more. He's still clutching his little hammer. And we get his giant skull. Rip. So Phobo says it's cool that they gave the knights lightning, and why do people think that's the real Ornstein? I don't know. And Justin says the real Ornstein is in Heidi's tower, though. She's really cold to leave him to rot. Moonmax says, you can't parry with the sword lightning attack, but you can with the spear one as far as you know, and it sucks that we can't use those attacks. Phobo says, Ornstein better show up in Elden Ring. You were so disappointed when he wasn't in Bloodborne and Sekiro. Justin says, the Ornstein and Smo we fight in Dark Souls 1 are illusions. We fight Ornstein in 2, and Smo is said to be the last knight in Anor Londo. Aldegusto says, weren't your Dark Sigils 5 in number and Anri's 3, so the number is around 4, the character for death, indicating undeath. So, I'll show you, like, we have 8 now, so I wouldn't say that it's, like, 4, like, the character for death, but I mean, it's a cool thought. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, 8 is a really lucky number for the Chinese, so, aside from that, like, the Arabic numeral of 8 is also very similar to, like, the infinity symbol. I don't necessarily think, like, that is supposed to tie into anything, but, you know, numerology is also one of those kind of weird things to think about. Oh, we need to give these back to the, handmaid. Talked is no good, but forge very good. I help anytime. Nightingale says, isn't Anri and Horus undead hollows as well as unkindled? Doesn't it show that when you see them without helmets as well as Horus actually going hollow? Phobos says, oh my god, you're like the first person I've heard pronounce his name correctly? Oh, which person? Essentially like the player character. Okay. So, going back to the Giant's Coal, this is coal used for weapon infusion. It is said that the giant blacksmith of Anor Londo was once the blacksmith of the gods. Give to the blacksmith in the shrine to allow the use of gems for lightning, simple, and chaos infusion. So that's pretty dope. Oh yeah, where am we going? Can we go through the right section now? I don't remember if there's anything over there. There's probably just like trash. Not important. Oh, we got the red-eyed Black Knight, Silver Knight, whatever. You stabbed me. Titanite shards. More souls. Giant blacksmith was literally the best NPC in Dark Souls. So yeah, I think this is like a dead end. Like you can't even come back in from the other side. I'm pretty confident about that, but you know, we'll be fine with being proven wrong too. Ornstein? Oh, okay. I don't know, like the Steenstein, like, it's not really a suffix. I mean, I do understand why people pronounce it different ways, because, like, even in, like, America, at least, there are, like, groups of families that will pronounce it one way versus the other. So, I mean, it could just be, like, more Americanized to say, like, Ornstein, but... I took a little German in high school, so I just kind of, ingrained into me to think of Stein as in like a stein of beer or something like that. So let's go ahead and re-equip our damn little torch, even though it's kind of pointless here. A little fat roll for now. I guess this is really like a medium roll. So it looks like somebody fixed the windows here in Anor Londo. And as we go into like the chapel area itself, and try to open the main gates, we'll find another one of those, not quite Sullivan Beast type things, but I don't know what they're called. Like the spidery type Sullivan Beast. So yeah, this is where you'd like normally enter Anor Londo. Chapel here in Dark Souls 1. That's closed off. There aren't any wandering giants because Gwendolyn's dead. No illusion enemies. We get the moonlight arrows, which ties into Gwendolyn. We get a bunch of Deacons of the Deep here. We get a bunch of crap everywhere, like literally, like all this stuff is supposed to be poop and skulls, it looks like, and it gets tied to the deep and all the sludge. You get this terrifying thing over here. That was lucky. I don't even know how you're supposed to fight this thing, like, straight on. I would just always, like, cheese it. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I got cursed. That's cool. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Okay, I'm kind of glad that I died to that, then. Huh. Don't know what to think of that. El Gusto says, you want that Colt to infuse your tea with lightning? That door was always a mystery, lol. Anor Londo is the worst area in Dark Souls 3, in your opinion? I don't know. Like, I do like that they included it. It is a little bit unfortunate with, like, how short it ended up being. That was weird. It like kept me going for a little bit. I lost the other souls. I was trying to kick, it didn't work, and oof. I think that's the first time I've lost my souls on stream. Maybe not. I don't know. Justin always called those big things the curse beasts. Okay, I guess if you would have, if like the chat was faster, I would have known that they were curse beasts a little bit earlier. Rule number 1 and 2: don't talk about. I'm not going to talk about it. You're not going to get me. Bloodborne rejects. Yeah. Mercy, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the cat in the box. A little too slow, a little too early. Damn it. I'm getting really baited by their delayed attacks. Okay, so 2 times losing my souls in a row. Or did I pick them up? I don't know, I'll just count that as 2 times. The poop is firm enough to stand on. They definitely had enough fiber in their diets. Anor Londo is the best area in Dark Souls 1. And Nightingale says, you wish you could have seen all of Anor Londo in its current state. Oh yeah, I did lose the 40,000 during Norm's fight. But I mean, that was kind of a special case. I mean, you're not wrong for sure. Like, I wasn't... Yeah, I'll just take just take the L's when I should. That's cool. But too early. Ooh. Way too early? Okay. Oh, he lived? That's not cool. Titanite shard. More shards. Didn't I get the leggings and I didn't read it? Yeah. So leggings of the Silver Knights, allegiant to the royals of old. It is said that even after the family's passing, the knights continued to watch over their manor in the ruined cathedral. So yeah, these guys are Silver Knights. I guess I need to remember that because they've got the wings on their head. That's the way to do it. So yeah, I mean, like, if I wanted to fight Yorm, like, the easy way, I could have done that and, like, not lost any souls, but, I mean, that isn't what happened, so I guess you're right that I lost some souls earlier. You believe those statues are what the purging stones are made out of? Which statues? Oh, I forgot these dudes are over here, that's annoying. Ow. These guys are tripping me out. Like, their animations make it seem like they're dead the first time, but they're not. They just keep getting back up. It's Chumbawamba or some shit. Oh, that was a little bit silly. So we got some more of them slime things. I guess I can't. Maybe I can plunging attack with the left hand, but I definitely screwed it up because I was trying to guard. And those things. So this area is a bit annoying. I'm not going to worry about that for now. Maybe I should. Ugh. I think I might want like 1 or 2 more points of endurance just to get that extra swing. So, where did we see? We saw these in the Cathedral of the Deep as well, didn't we? So we can see that there's like some bones sticking out of them. Like some organs, I guess? Or maybe like... yeah. You can pretty much just run past everything in here. It's just kind of an annoying place. Ow. Are these things like dropping from the ceiling? I've got an idea. Not do that. Hopefully that's everything now. Oh no, there's more sludge. Oh, of course. So I'll catch up on you guys. I'll use the buff first. Okay, I'll catch up now. So, sorry for the thrilling gameplay. Effervescent says, those guys are the worst when you're wearing a mimic head and a crystal sage rapier on your offhand, even at higher levels, just slows down the time you could waste them for farming. Yeah, farming for the Covenant stuff is not very good in this game. Or pretty much in all of them, to be honest. At least you can farm some of these things offline. Like I couldn't stand to do all of them online. It would just take so long. It's just really tedious. I think like for a lot of them you need to do it like 30 times, but if it was like 5 times, I think it'd be a bit more reasonable for some of them. At least for like the trophy. But to just like get all of the items just makes me want to shoot myself. Okay, so I think that's it for now. Hopefully. Okay. Black Knights are Silver Knights who fought in the First Demon War. I mean, there is a difference, but you're not, like, entirely wrong. Another one. Effervescent says, if I didn't know the Storm Ruler was a sword you could find and use in a boss in the arena at the end of World 4 in Demon Souls that let melee players defeat a flying boss. No, I did not. Thank you for letting me know. That's cool. It's kind of interesting to learn what items and whatnot are like references in other games, to other games. And Justin says, the great sword of the Black Knights who wander Lordran used to face Chaos Demons. Black Knight sword. Their armor description does say they were burned by the first flame, you believe. Yeah, I mean, they were like Silver Knights, but like the way that the game treats them at this point is like they are different. So I don't want to get hit by this thing is essentially the pro strat. So what did I do? I just got hit. Sweet. Aldrich's Ruby. So now we can open up the shortcut. Professor Gomez, welcome back. You said sorry you're late. Have a great stream. Thank you for stepping in, as always. So yeah, that's pretty much that. How many damn vials do I have? 6? I mean, I could probably kill it. So I guess I can't summon Anri right now. I'll go ahead. You know what? Screw it. I'm like, Aldrich isn't too crazy, I don't think. So I'm gonna go ahead and Ember up, and then I'll save the game. That looks weird. Oh, those are just like the curtains on the inside. So yeah, I'm gonna Ember up, and then I'll save the game here, and then I'll solo Aldrich the first time around. Then I'll like summon the second time to get footage for my third person perspective, I guess. So I think Cirrus's summon sign should be somewhere. If not, rip. Since we've already cleared everything out. Because I know you can summon Anri for him. If you like do her quest. Or is it you invade Anri's Aldrich? That's the other thing. So, I did save it before we let the pilgrims take Anri. So we could always do the Aldrich stuff fairly quickly on that save if I ever go back to it. Alright. I'll just go ahead and save out now, and then I'll find it later on when we actually do it. Okay. So Merc Merkington says that the Storm Ruler is an actually pretty good weapon in Demon Souls. In DS3 it's worthless, unless it's against Yorm. Justin says there are a bunch of hollows protruding out of its fur. Oh, and that might be why it has like all the curse stuff, the Aldrich thing. Oh yeah, and I didn't read the ruby. So Effervescent says, because Demon Souls had so few weapons, almost all the weapons are decent, apart from the light crossbow and that nail dagger. Okay. Professor Gomez says, you don't know why, but when you first finished Dark Souls 3, you were like, what now? I don't know if anyone else felt the same. It's like, I want more. Yeah, I think for Dark Souls 3 I did feel the same way, and then like the DLC kind of like scratched that itch. Storm Ruler in Demon Souls was Kino, he can just launch people. Soliloquy says, has anyone played Demon Souls Remake? Is the scrapping spear just as much cancer as it was in the original PvP? I don't know, I didn't have I mean I don't have a PS5 still. Those things are hard to get. Baby Nail was good though. It had plague. Maybe you're thinking of the Needle of Eternal Agony. So this is going to be the Aldrich fight. Yeah, I'll pull out the binoculars for now. Down to 4 heals, which is a good way to start the fight. So those are like the, what are they called? The moonlit arrows. It's been a while since I fought him, so I kind of forget the strats. I think I just basically remembered YOLOing him. So the thing on top is Gwendolyn. Oh, that did a bit more damage than I was expecting. And so the thing on the bottom is supposed to be Aldrich himself. He is said to have eaten Gwendolyn, which is kind of a weird way to look at it because the first time I was playing through, like, I didn't actually fight Gwendolyn in Dark Souls 1, so I didn't realize that like Aldrich was, or Gwendolyn was part of Aldrich in Dark Souls 3. Like, I just thought that was kind of how the boss is supposed to look. But yeah, he seems to be controlling Gwendolyn. He's able to use Gwendolyn's magic. He's also able to use some of Nito's miracles, which is a bit of a mystery as to how that came to be. Leave me alone. Oh, and I didn't read the damn ruby. I don't think it's too different than Sapphire. Don't let the Pokemon players know. Ow. Bastard. I don't remember if he takes more damage if he hit like the Gwendolyn portion. So this is kind of like the Crystal Sage fight, but oh, we're already in phase 2. But like in the second phase, oh, that's not cool. I don't remember how to deal with this. I think I just need to run. Oh, I didn't see him recharging that Hadouken. So yeah, in phase 2, he switches from like the dark magic to more fire magic, which is kind of interesting. But I guess that kind of goes in line with the Abyss Walkers as well, or Abyss Watchers, as well as Yorm, now that I think about it. Because now that we did fight Yorm like the stubborn way, I found out that he has a second phase, and in that second phase he embers up. So I guess that gets repeated with Gwendolyn, or Aldrich. So yeah, that's kind of cool to think about. Damn it, I didn't mean to run up here. Okay, I'll catch up with chat, and then I'll run up there. So, Minmax says, Bluepoint made sure the gameplay stayed the same, so yes, whatever was cancer before is still cancer now. And Justin says, Demon Souls is just as dead outside of a low level. Oof. The arrows are terrifying. They felt like Midir, lol. Zephyl Vendris for Hansel. Oh, welcome to the stream. He said everything related to Nito is a mystery in Dank Souls. Nito's curved sword and Priscilla's life hunt. So Priscilla's life hunt might be related to like the soul of Gwendolyn, which is some of the crazy stuff we talked about earlier, which I was going to talk about once we actually did defeat Aldrich and look at his soul and all that. Nito's is such an unused character. Oh, you wish Nito had more significance in the lore too. Yeah, everybody does. Oh, Lords ember up. Yeah, so I didn't realize that they embered up. I mean, like, I did, but I didn't realize that they had it in common, I guess, until just now. Like, I remember, like, you know, the Twin Princes, they obviously did, but... it didn't occur to me that it was, like, a theme until now. Nito's area has 2 coffins. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I don't remember what he does right there. Oh, that's like that thing. Okay. Oh, so that breaks through the wall. That's not cool. Oof. That was weird. Got like stun locked a little bit. So despite how poorly I am playing, like this fight isn't too hard. I just don't remember the meta. And there's a lot of cool stuff in his room as well. So like I'll point it out now, like the thing that we'll be like fighting in is like covered in muck and bugs as well. And that might be like tied to the deep and like the bugs in humanity or whatever. The gnawing little creatures. And Justin says there's actually 3 coffins in Nito's arena. I think you're right. Like there's the 2 next to each other, which are probably what he's thinking of. And then there's like the one off to the side where you can get the paladin's items. The paladin set. And so Gabriel is asking if Nito had a family. I think it's possible. That's a reading that some people make about it. I was about to say, I swear I forget Hadokened again just now. I guess for this fight I could equip like the Dark Ring. That would probably help a lot. At least for the first phase. Oh damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. I was too worried about the other stuff going on. Okay. Here we go. Phobo says, you don't get why they didn't just give him Priscilla's scythe instead of Nito's sword. Oh, you mean for the spells? I'm like, what? Nito's sword? Okay, yeah. Merc says, Aldrich has one of your favorite themes. So with like with Aldrich, it is a bit weird. I think like the potential connection between Gwendolyn and Priscilla might be why he would have like the Life Hunt scythe, which doesn't make like a ton of sense. So potentially we could also read it that like Sullivan might have fed him Priscilla since he's from the Painted World and she's no longer there. But yeah, we're just really not given much of anything in the way of information about how that all fits together. Eldegusta says, do I think Yorm could have rolled all the other Lords of Cinder? Is Yorm the GOAT? I do think that's possible. If, like, what's his name? Aldrich couldn't run away and just cast spells. Because, Yorm does have a weak face. Used all those. Oh, he's Hadokening, of course. Ugh. And I whiffed. Oh, he has fire trail him. I forgot about that. That's the dangerous one? Yeah. Oof, got lucky. Wasn't trying to roll there. That's not good. Okay. Run! I couldn't, like, actually run, which is annoying. I was just a little bit too greedy is all, but it's okay. Professor Gomez says, I hate when bosses spam one particular attack. Brainsuckers do that with the Magic Hold attack in Bloodborne. Aldrich most likely ate Nito. Aldrich's soundtrack is similar to Gwendolyn's. Weird that his magic stuff is purple since Gwendolyn's was blue. Well, since he's like the what's the word? Like the Pope of the Deep, the religion of the deep, it's presumable that his magic is more aligned with darkness. So like the two Dranglic knights that we fought before coming up to Anor Londo, when they buff their weapons with the dark ability, it turns purple. And so the same is true of this. When we use the resins, oh, it's chasing me. I hear it. It's scaring me. So, yeah. Aldrich confirmed did not eat Priscilla. He dreamt of the light hunt site. I mean, that doesn't mean he didn't eat Priscilla. Damn it, this guy. I don't really think lightning will do too much to him, but... Damn it. That, by getting a bit closer to him, I wouldn't get got. Flame crap. Damn it. Ooh, I got lucky there. Oh, not so lucky there. Ooh, baby, we got him in the middle of the arrows. So, Cinders of the Lord and the Sword of Aldrich.
and awaits its one last lord. Prince Lothric is in your hands.
Weird. What happens if you kill Lothric before Aldrich?
Save his soul.
And is that supposed to be Emma's voice? Or now I'm like wondering if it's supposed to be Gwendolyn's. That's weird. I don't know. And it automatically teleports us out of there? That's... I don't want that. So we're gonna have to teleport back in there. Because I think there's a bonfire in there, not that it's like that big a deal, but I wanted to look at some of the stuff in the room there. So Zephyl Thendris for Hansel says Aldrich might have learned some spells from dreams. He has this thing of dreaming. Aldrich confirmed did not eat Priscilla. He dreamt of life on Scythe. Might have acquired Nito's sword from the dreams. So Cinders of the Lord and Sword of Soul of Aldrich. We already got those. So yeah, we already killed Emma before, and we dealt with the dancer. So I'm not too worried about that. And we could place the base in there, but I don't want to. So we get a new... Okay, so that's there already. So I was confused why that happened my first time in Dark Souls, like why Emma died. Or Dark Souls 3, why she died. I'm going to go back to... let's go to the Firelink Shrine, and then I'll go back to Aldrich's stuff after looking at chat. So let me scroll back up. Yeah, the only confirmed eat is Gwendolyn. Jacob McNamara, welcome back to the stream. He said, yo, Nightbot, why you gotta call me out like that? Zephyl says, funny thing, he calls himself the Eater of Gods in plural. Oh, so that might be a thing of like a translation where singular and plural isn't always made clear, so it could be taken potentially either way. And it might be easier to say that you're like the Eater of Gods and, you know, build up your own reputation rather than just saying like Eater of a God. So even one god is like gods if like your goal is to eat all of them, I guess. Silver Knights are technically gods, so yeah, you might not be wrong about that. Gabriel says, Aldrich is the boss that gave you the most trouble in base Dark Souls 3, that damn arrow shower attack. Yeah, so... Like I said, that fight to me is similar to the Crystal Sage fight, not just because of like the homing arrows, but it's more like you need to run and get in his face and just attack him before he can really do like a lot of damage to you. So I mean, obviously I screwed up a few times trying to get that execution a bit right, but I mean overall like the strategy does work, at least for me with the melee weapons. It'd probably be interesting to see how that would work as like a magic fight. Probably a bit easier, but I don't know. Justin says he uses Gwendolyn's bow and staff. Why not use the actual Life Hunt scythe? Yeah, I get what you mean with that. Aldrich really looks like the old one with the shrub face. It sounds like Gwendolyn. Zephyl Thendris says, lol, Emma's calling you from the dead. You can't. Archive is closed until the other lords are dead. Okay, that's cool. Thank you, Justin. So let's check out his nice little skull here, as well as the his soul. Oh, and we can... Well, I'll reload it anyway for the serious stuff. So, Cinders of the Lord left by Aldrich, Devourer of Gods. If the lords will not return to their thrones themselves, let them return as cinders. Aldrich became a lord by devouring men, but was disillusioned with his throne, and so took to devouring gods instead. It's weird that it says that he became a lord by devouring men. I mean, that probably just like gave him the strength to become one, but interesting. He became disillusioned with his throne, so it sounds like he should have like already linked. Aldrich's stuff is so weird to like try to fit into the timeline to me, as well as like his motivation and like how he may have been forced to link. I don't know, but yeah, looking at the skull itself, we can see that it's like crawling with like bugs and maggots, and he's related to the deep and consuming other people, which is like kind of a form of like cannibalization, I guess. So what else? His soul is really, really cool though. So compared to like the Deacons of the Deep, we see like a bunch of small like black purplish souls. His is like a gigantic purple one with like a tinge of white at the bottom, so that a lot of people like to think that that white part of his soul is like representative of Gwendolyn, the soul that he's already consumed. So When Aldrich ruminated on the fading of the fire, it inspired visions of a coming age of the deep sea. He knew the path would be arduous, but he had no fear. He would devour the gods himself. So yeah, Aldrich's stuff is just super cool, really. Like that idea of consuming everything to kind of create a new world. I mean, it's really grotesque for sure, but I don't know, just it has like a lot more purpose and maybe like self-actualization in terms of like Dark Souls. So I can't help but kind of like respect this dude for like saying like, screw you guys, I'm gonna make my own world with hookers and blackjack, you know? So Justin says, you'll reiterate your first playthrough you missed the cathedral and the crystal sage. You thought you had to kill Dancer and Armor before proceeding, and then you did. Yeah, I could totally picture that happening, so you had to deal with an early Dancer as well. Zephyl says, you just read on the wiki, the Drang set is called the Llewellyn in Dark Souls 2, same name of the horse's shield. Yes, we did look at some of that stuff in a stream or two ago, but thank you again for bringing that up. I keep thinking of this as an undead bone shard, and it trips me out. So, those are the items with Aldrich so far, so we can see what Lilith will give us. Life Hunt Scythe. So yeah, this is a really big one. Miracle of Aldrich, Devourer of Gods. Steals HP of foes using an Illusory Scythe. Aldrich dreamt as he slowly devoured the god of the Dark Moon. In this dream, he perceived the form of a young, pale girl in hiding. So yeah, going back to the crazy stuff that I talked about earlier with the Gwendolyn potentially being the son of Priscilla, the way I came to that kind of conclusion would be because there's obviously like some kind of link that's meant in the authorship of this note or this item description to me, and that by consuming Gwendolyn, it gave Aldrich the visions of Priscilla, and part of the reason why I'm saying this is Priscilla, I think might have been due to the Japanese. I think I have this on my spreadsheet, so let me double check. And for anybody who wants to follow on, I think Nightbot will link my spreadsheet after I type that in. And it's in my Dark Souls Work in Progress tab towards the right, down at the bottom. Aldrich. So, Aldrich, devouring the god of the Dark Moon, gradually inside it, dreamt a dream of a faintly hidden white maiden. So, it calls her a pale girl in English, whereas, like, as I was mentioning way earlier, Priscilla is called the pure white in... Oh, actually, I have my Life Hunting Scythe from Dark Souls 1 translated as well. So here's the official Dark Souls 1 Life Hunt Scythe translation, and it says, it's a scythe born from the soul of Priscilla, the stark white crossbead trapped inside the painted world Ariamis. Even the gods feared Priscilla's life hunt ability, and in the hands of a mortal, its power will turn upon its wielder. And so, I mean, that's pretty straightforward. It calls her the Stark White. And my translation of that would be that it's a weapon produced of the soul of the pure white half-dragon Priscilla, imprisoned in Ariamis, the painting world. It possesses the power of even the gods feared of life hunting, but if anyone other than a half-dragon were to wield its power, that power would be rebounded even upon the user. So, I mean, overall, it's pretty much similar. The important bit is that she's like the pure white half-dragon, and so that idea of her being like a white maiden is a bit more connected in the Japanese than just like a pale girl in English. So, yeah, going back to the whole Gwendolyn thing, with Aldrich eating Gwendolyn, that gives him the dream of Priscilla, and that gives us the Life Hunt Scythe of Priscilla, so to me it's pretty explicit that like the pale girl in hiding is supposed to be her. And that connection doesn't really make sense that Priscilla would be related to Gwendolyn until like we entertain the idea that maybe Gwendolyn is her son or related to her in a more meaningful way than you would assume just from Dark Souls 1 alone. So, if you guys have further questions about that, I'll be happy to talk about it, but I think that's all I have for now. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I just can't think of it. El Gusto says, it could be as simple as Sully told him the first flame was tasty and he linked trying to eat it. Or maybe they just dropped him on the flame and it resolves itself. Yeah. Justin says, see, you thought he dreamt of Priscilla because of Pontiff, as he gave Gwendolyn to him. So the spreadsheet link didn't work. Oh, maybe it's because it's too long in the YouTube thing. So maybe this'll work. Let me just copy and paste it. So hopefully that'll work for you. I guess it just like auto shortens it? I don't know. The Nightingale says, could Seath have had a hand in Gwendolyn's birth since he has a lower body of serpents? I think that's a possibility as well. Yeah, a lot of people do think that even if Priscilla isn't Gwendolyn's mother, that Seath may have experimented on Gwendolyn because he was a weak child and he is more affiliated with things related to Seath, with like the illusions and the moonlight and all that. But okay. What was the other thing with Aldrich? Okay. The Dark Moon Longbow. Longbow of Dark Moon Gwendolyn, who is gradually devoured by Aldrich. This golden bow is imbued with powerful magic and is most impressive with moonlight arrows. And so the skill is the Dark Moon Arrow. Infuse a readied arrow with Dark Moon Essence, granting it magic damage and the ability to pierce shields. So yeah, I mean, this just kind of reinforces that Gwendolyn was consumed by Aldrich, which is pretty obvious from the fight if you are familiar with Gwendolyn in Dark Souls 1. I'm thinking maybe I won't reload the save to fight Aldrich again, just because we got like a few takes and I don't really think like summoning it will get too much more. Maybe I could get like a closer up, I don't know. I guess I'm not too worried about it. I don't know. I'll think about it a bit more.
Ow. Gracious.
And I don't remember if we get anything for killing Aldrich from her. Probably the Dark Moon bows? Arrows, rather? No. Smo stuff. Did we get this from his soul? I don't know. So this is the Eastern set that we got from that one armor dude, or the Ashes dude. Distinctive Hell Maiden in Eastern Land. The exquisite craftsmanship and artistic design made these prized pieces in the collection of any nobleman. Offers excellent damage absorption, particularly from slashing attacks from katanas, which are commonly encountered threats in battles fought in the East. So I think this is also like Shiva's set in Dark Souls 1. I might be misremembering. I think I used this a decent amount. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty sure we're done with this.
Ashen one.
Heed my words, unkindled one. Fear the fire, the unbidden. Heed the
Okay.
tempered. Do not be gone for long.
So next we'll do Cirrus' stuff.
Tis what neat. My, the coal of that peaceable giant. Seems like ages past. I imagine his passing was long ago. I miss the old bugger, I do. My thanks. I'll be sure this coal is put to good use. I'll be smithing weapons never afore seen by the likes of ye. It's but a small service to pay my humble respects.
So some people think that Andre is probably the same Andre from Dark Souls 1 because of this dialogue. I guess Miyazaki says they're just different people and part of the clan of Andre, but yeah, I'll leave that there. Justin said, why would Gwendolyn see his mother as a young girl in the painting? Wouldn't it make sense that Gwendolyn was around when Priscilla was conceived and thrown away? Thank you for bringing that up, because that's kind of a good point to bring up. And so, was it The Life Hunt Scythe? Yeah, okay, we'll talk to Ludlith again. Yeah, Life Hunt Scythe in the English calls her a young girl, which I mean isn't terribly off. The Japanese for it uses a musume, which means like daughter. Like literally, it just means daughter, but it's kind of more of a colloquial way to say maiden. So rather than just like a young pale girl in hiding, the Japanese is Shiroi Musume no Yumeo. So yeah, Shiroi Musume means just like a white maiden. That's literally what it comes down to. And so if you look up like the term like Musume, it's pretty common Japanese word. It just means daughter, but it's also used for like maiden. So women, unmarried women of marriageable age mostly. McKib said, never seen that NPC before. Which one? And also welcome to the stream. And so Nymphaly says, Gwendolyn was born frail, so if Priscilla was Seath's son, you mean Seath's daughter, that'd make sense since that was his grandson was frail too. El Gusto says, could it even be possible that Gwendolyn was raised in the painted world? They never say it, but he was raised in hiding, maybe. Yeah, so that's a possibility, and that might be related to like why he's the Dark Moon or like hidden, but yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it overall. We do know that he was raised as a girl, though. And so El Gusto says, you guys, it's just a coincidence that Gwendolyn was born a frail albino, serpent feet, and affiliated with sorcery and the moon and maybe blindness. Yeah. To me, I think there's just a lot of small details that just kind of supports it and gives it a lot more weight than it might initially seem. So I'm being a little bit of a broken record about that, but Justin, that was definitely a valid question, and thank you again for bringing that up. Zephyl says, yeah, because of his affiliation with the moon and voiced by Gwendolyn's VA2. Justin says Lothric princes are also frail and pale. Wait, this Andre knew the giant too? Damn, yeah. Justin says, a young pale daughter in hiding, almost like Priscilla being Seath's daughter. I mean, I wouldn't say take like daughter literally in that instance, but it's just kind of a way to say like a maiden, a pale maiden, a white maiden. Which I guess like if you go with maiden, it doesn't fit the idea that she wasn't married. But I mean, when we do look at Priscilla, she looks young and not married. That's a terrible thing to say, but yeah. Even with that in mind, it's kind of hard to say like how much the gods and whatnot age. So I think by saying young girl, it just kind of gives the impression that it means like a little girl, like one who's like younger than her teens maybe. Whereas I think like the intent was like she's just a young woman. So maybe the term girl there was just a bit unfortunately used. But I don't know. It's just kind of one of the trepidations of translating things. Like the translation isn't inaccurate, so to speak. It just invites kind of like misinterpretations. I don't know how else to say that tactfully. We already got all the pyromancies and that stuff over there. I think we already got all the miracles too. Let me double check arena. Otherwise, I'll just level up or get some more things from Grey Rat. Okay. I'll level up once, maybe with endurance, and then talk to Grey Rat. And then do the serious stuff.
Welcome us. Very well, then take note. Let these souls withdrawn from their farewell, Ashen. May the
Okay, not enough. Where's it? Okay, not enough. But that's alright. Oh, I never talked to her again, did I?
and liege. I presume thy holy vows are sworn? Wonderful. Now thou art the true and deserving Lord of Hollows. With the spouse, the strength to claim the fire is thine. Thy lordship, I prithee wrest the fire from its mantle. I, Uria, and all Londo embrace thy impending lordship. Our lord and liege, I prithee, play the usurper. When the moment cometh to link the fire, wrest it from its mantle. The age of fire was founded by the old gods, sustained by the linking of the fire. But the gods are no more, and the all-powerful fire deserveth a new heir. Our Lord of Hollows, it shall be, who weareth the true face of mankind. Our Lord and liege.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Be safe.
So going back to the chat, we have Justin saying a young pale daughter in hiding, almost like Priscilla being Seath's daughter. I read that one. Nightingale says, you think it's more of a question on how Seath made these dragon children? The closest thing we see from how he could do this is from the Pisakas. Yeah, so as I've said before, we do know that he was experimenting on maidens. We see them kidnap what's her name, Rhea in Dark Souls 1 as like a kind of a holy maiden to be experimented upon. So yeah, I really don't know how Seath would have created or like fathered Priscilla, but we do know she is a half dragon, and so that even that amount of information alone does bring up a lot of questions. But Scott says, loving having your streams on while you study. Nice to listen to in the background. Well, thank you, and hope you continue to enjoy it. El Degusto says, Nightingale, your headcanon was that Seath was a hermaphrodite who had an affair with Gwyn, since Gwyn could only confide in Seath and Frampt. Justin says, Seath is a special dragon who is seemingly alive compared to the other dragons who just exist. El Degusto says, Jeremiah was married to the Witch of Izalith? I don't know about that. And you said you think Seath may have been the first dragon born after Disparity, and Justin thinks so too. And so yeah, that's a thought that I have as well. Even though Seath is called like an everlasting dragon, I'm pretty sure, or maybe it's just called Ancient Dragon. He doesn't have the scales that give him immortality, so it seems to me he would have been a victim of Disparity. And Justin says he was born alive, thus can't be dead. Dragons aren't alive, thus can't die. So yeah. Zethel says, yeah, and that's why he doesn't have the scales and need the crystal to be undying. Yeah. The nesting dragon in Ash Lake is unkillable. The true face of mankind. Okay. Grey Rat should tell me some stuff. I guess I don't have enough souls for that. Okay. But we can buy some of the blessings. Interesting. How did we get this? So, I'll read both of them. So, the Queen of Lothric, married to the former King Osiros, was initially revered as a goddess of fertility and bounty. After giving birth to Ocelot, her youngest, she quietly disappeared. So, with her being revered as a goddess of fertility and bounty, there is reason to believe that that could have been Guinevere, but that kind of contradicts like her being related to, or being married to Flan in Dark Souls 1, but that doesn't mean like she was permanently married to him, of course. So yeah. This one says, there is a grave in Lothric that sees no visitors, a dark place where rootless warriors rest. The Queen of Lothric alone cared to wish the poor souls good fortune. I don't remember how you get this. Oh, I guess I already had one. I need to look that up again sometime. So, did I read this before? Whatever, it says, it is said long ago that the god of the dark moon, Gwyndolin, wielded these arrows with a matching golden bow. So, just ties into what we just did. Oh, I never made the one dragon fly away, I don't think. Or did I? No, I didn't. Damn it. We'll need to remember to do that.
Goodbye. Oh, this.
Well, we could do that later as well. We did Andre stuff. We did all the NPC stuff. Okay. So this time we're going to try to go back to the place with Cirrus, and then if we find her summon sign, I'll save scum it. And where are we going? Okay. Zephyl says, all the dragons died in the Dragon War. The lightning helped to peel the stone scales that granted their undying characteristics. I don't know how true that is, just because, like, even in Dark Souls 1, you have Calamite, which is, like, kind of confirmed to be an everlasting dragon, or at least just, like, an ancient one. And the same thing with the Ash Lake dragon. Wow, that time I almost called it a giant. Truly having difficulties with those two. Oh, interesting. And so after Aldrich, the skyboxes change. Okay. Oh, is it because of... It's probably not just Aldrich, but just the 3 Lords of Cinder. So, I guess you could potentially do Yorm as the last one. Oh, it lived. I wanted my revenge, but it didn't work out. And so now we've got the eclipse going on in the background that will show off eventually. I guess these flowers are different. These ones are more pink instead of purple. Or maybe they change after the day? Wait, okay. Wasn't trying to do that. So Eldegusta says Flan probably died long ago. Scott says, is there a reason why Seath is scaleless, or do we assume it's just some natural genetic mutation? So we kind of think it's possible as a product of disparity. He was born after the first flame appeared, and so as a creature that was born after that time, it was given like properties that are different from the other dragons, and so he's not everlasting. Because death wasn't a thing before the flame came into being. And Eldegusta says, this makes you think seemingly unkillable things may have been from before disparity, like Alvina and the primordial serpents. Yeah. And Justin says he's albino, so most likely a mutation. And Zephyl says, how you understand it is disparity changes all relations in the world, thus allowing the dragons to die and Seath to be scaleless, allowing death to occur. Yeah. Eldegusto says, you think it's the fruits of disparity that allowed the dragons to be beaten? They themselves weren't really changes. That's an interesting thought as well. And Justin says, you don't think dragons can even die? The undead dragons we fight are just scaleless dragons. So what makes Calamite and Midir different? You know, Midir eventually like gets a lot more disparity introduced to him by eating all the darkness. And Calamite, he might have been afflicted beforehand because he's got like the big eye in the center of his head. And so that's different. Maybe Gwyn lied and dragons are pushovers. Nightingale says, you also have the miasma dragons, ones who were peeled and were poisoned, yet after many years they are still alive, sorta. And so that, like, even like the everlasting dragons can undergo changes, because we do see with the gaping dragon that its greed and hunger changed it over a period of time. Because it is described as a true, or maybe it was just a descendant of the dragons now that I think about it. But I thought it was like a real everlasting dragon. So, Soliloquy says you have to beat Abyss Watchers, Yorm, and Aldrich before you can get into the Grand Archives to fight the Twin Princes. Dragon butts still roam Izalith. Those are dinosaurs. Eldegusta says, nah, Go even says that they killed 20 of their men for everyone taken out. Justin says Silver Knights are Dex build, so it makes sense. Also, Calamite is in Dragon Shrine with his eye still attached. Okay, so this is all we needed to do to progress with Sirius's quest line. So she's requesting our help, and we can help her. I guess that was pretty straightforward. We get a cool fog wall over there as we get summoned in to help her kill Granddad.
I finally found you. Just as I promised, Granddad. Remember?
I was expecting like an actual spell. Oh, wow. That one-shot me? Really? Maybe she'll say it again, which will be cool. Did that really one-shot me? That's crazy. Kerm the Derm, welcome back to the stream. And Aldagusta says the Gaping Dragon was a true dragon, unlike the Drakes, but it was a descendant. Okay. And Zephyl says there's another bug dragon butt in Ariamis, another sign of disparity. Yeah, that one is definitely a dragon. I was kind of joking. Oh, I don't even need to be embered up to do this? Okay. Aldagusto says the ancient dragon in Dark Souls 2 seemed to emit the grayness of the before time when left by itself. If I remember correctly, that dragon was crafted out of giant souls? I might be wrong. Because you guys know how much I talk about
found you.
How well I know Dark Souls 2.
Just as I promised, Granddad. Remember?
But he's got the Flamberge, a really rare weapon that we managed to pick up ourselves. Don't let him do that. This dude has a lot of health. Oh, it's too slow with that one. I was trying to roll, didn't have enough stamina. That's what I get for being stubborn and not healing. That's fine though. Oh, did I not pick up my like 3,000 souls or whatever it was? Tears Ahead, best armor set in the game. It did have a giant soul. Okay. Zephyl asks, the fake one or the one at Dear Freya's arena? Eldegusta says it seemed like they switched the drops of the old dragon and the experimental dragon in Aldia's keep. Ancient dragon is a construct made by Aldia in order to create an everlasting dragon. The one at the dragon Anri. Airy, whatever. Who's being fought right now? This is Horus, her... No, not Horus. Hodrick? Hodrick, her grandfather.
I finally found you. Just as I promised, Granddad. Remember?
Bonk. Oh, he's got the ring as well. That's cool. He's dead.
Good night, Granddad.
Holy Knight Hodrick defeated, returning to your world. Interesting that it calls him a Holy Knight, so... Maybe it's because it has to deal with the shackles of the gods? I'm not sure. I mean, Holy Knight is also another word for paladin, but... That was cool to do. So I guess I didn't need to save beforehand just because it allows you like the infinite amounts to redo it. So Hodrick is the person whom we first saw when we came down to this pit in the Mound Makers before fighting the tree down here. And so that's who we just killed and we helped Cirrus kill. I think we can talk to her again at the shrine. We can examine this thing right here to get the sunset set. And yeah. Go ahead and read that as well as chat right by this altar here. Justin says, we see giant bodies and Aldis keep all stuffed in a room. Eldegusta says, Grandpappy Hod, I was in the lacrosse team together with him in college. I always knew he would go hollow. Justin says, also, even the skeleton dragon is alive and attacks you when you enter. Those things never quit. Zephyl says, you don't know why, but you grew fond of DS2. I wish I liked DS2. I really do. Eldegusta says, the true everlasting dragons are supposed to have bones instead of souls. Too bad it was ruined by poor mechanics. Justin... Zephyl says to Justin, he attacks when you light all the fireplaces in Aldia's Keep. Justin says, you thought he attacked when you entered. Captini, Laseri, welcome back to the stream. You said you never liked Dark Souls 2. Had to force yourself to play it. Feels even totally different to play. Yeah. It's unfortunate. So this is the Sunset Armor. It's armor of Hodrick, Holy Knight of the Sunless Realms. This light gold armor, named for its sunset hues, is now faded and wrapped in tainted rags. The sorry fool was known to wander the battlefield as a crazed ghoul, lashing out at friend and foe alike. So he, as a mound maker, he tried to keep hold of his sanity, but he obviously failed and went hollow. And this is kind of a theme where family members will put down family members. And when we look at the mound makers, they try to increase their amount of family members with their kills. It's a bit of a weird mentality, I guess, but yeah. I don't think the helm will say anything different. I might be wrong. This kind of reminds me of what's his name? His helmet, like Artorias or even like Slave Knight Gale. Okay, so that's the same. All right. So we've been about 3.5 hours. We're at a good stopping point, having just done the serious stuff. We'll go back to Firelink Shrine at the very beginning of the next stream to kind of kick off there. And then from that point, we'll go, I think, deal with Osiros first, and then maybe the Untended Gardens, or Untended Graves, for the next stream. I'll look at the soul list, because I think, yeah, I'll probably just do that anyway. Get rid of the king before dealing with the princes. So... for everybody who's dropped by again today or just lurked and left comments, thank you, and we'll pick it up again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so hopefully I'll see you all then as well, and hopefully I'll get the time situated properly for the next stream. So once again, thank you all for stopping by, and have a good day.